Flippity flop. Here we go. Here we go. Look at all that shit. Look how we're all set up. Ready to work the pipe, swallow the gravy. Cradle the balls, work the shaft, swallow the gravy. That's kind of gross. I love that part of Tropic Thunder. Jack Black's character's having like heroin withdrawals. I need you to tie me to a fucking tree. Don't believe anything I say to you. It's all lies, okay? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, my little internet people. How are you? I got one thing to say. I'm glad Reagan dead. Yo, yo. Well, good mornings this morning. Tucking it in. Tucking in with the good mornings today. I like that, man. People feeling good today. That's good, right? Start with a good vibe and you work from there. I got 3 watches last night. Oh no, Pranav. Dude, Mindy is gonna fucking never forgive me, bro. When I finally get to meet Mindy, she's gonna punch me right in the face and be like, look what you've done. My husband got bit by the fucking microbrand bug. Look what you've done, Paul's ego. Dude, that's awesome. What did you end up getting, bro? You got, I'm sure you got your fucking, it's not the Soloscope, right? That you like? You like the, I'm trying to remember what it was. I got her a 6K Chanel purse. It's not a problem. Okay, good. All right, you took care of the back end then. Got you. You did the right thing first. It's about time, Big P. We were getting worried. What? Me getting worried, bro. Plan to get that Casio data bank for my brother. Cool. Yeah, my nephew and one of my nieces are both kind of into the digital watches, and they got a Casio data bank each for Christmas. I didn't get them because I didn't know. I didn't know they were into watches. Got a black and gold G-Shock, the Halograph 2, and threw in a free mystery watch. Oh shit, dude, you did the Zarek mystery watch? My guy, bro. That's pretty dope. Just listening to your stream I missed. You're a tough love machine, my friend. Yeah, I know. I feel kind of bad when I get all fucking brolic like that sometimes, but I feel like sometimes people need to hear that shit. People do need to hear a little bit of tough love, whatever shape it takes sometimes. And I'm a guy that just I happen to be good at that. What advice can you give to a depressive to uplift themselves? I don't know, man. That's a long question answer, and I'm not a fucking therapist. I would say that the thing that works for me is, well, there's a number of things that I do. Meditation, mindfulness, stretching. Sometimes when I'm feeling really depressed or anxious, I hold on to some ice in my hand because it's a way of like really focusing your body and your mind on something that isn't an anxiety attack or a depressive episode. Breathing You can do, oftentimes like, and this is all, a lot of this is about anxiety. I have anxiety and then I struggle with depression as well. Some people have depression and they struggle with anxiety sometimes as well, right? I have more anxiety than the depression, but they're comorbid with one another. So addressing one can sometimes trigger another. You have to address both. But I can't help you. The stuff that I do and the things that I do because they work for me, not because they're supposed to be the best thing for you. Last few streams with Jason Game were tough to listen to. I know you were close with him, but he has to grow up. I know, man. I had to make my decision, man. Not to put my business on Front Street or whatever, but after that whole thing, Jason wrote me like a long, like 3 or 4 paragraph, like Discord DM. And, he's my friend, so of course I read it. And when I read it, it was filled with nothing but accusations towards me. He took no responsibility for anything that he did. In fact, he excused a lot of his shit because he works. Like, the big thing that really got me, that really like underlined, I'm dealing with a kid here, is he said, the reason I do things the reason I'm edgy online, the reason I troll and stuff, it's because I work a hard job, man. I work with old people all day, and I take care of old people all day. And when I'm done with that, I can do whatever I want online, motherfucker. It's like that, right? And I was just like, dude, you working a hard job? You working a hard job does not excuse you acting like an autistic asshole and putting that shit on me, bro. So I just wrote him back and I said, hey, man, I love you. I always will, but we're not friends anymore. We can't be friends. You got some growing up to do. I've tried my best with you, man, but it always this cycle, I'm done with it. So best of luck in your future. Please don't ever contact me again or pop into my shit. I don't want to see you. Bye. And that was that, bro. It really is a shame, man. That's a tough thing to do. It's a 10-year friendship that you've got to walk away from because, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it doesn't feed positivity in your life. It's like a negative drain. So it's like, if you'd written me some shit about like, man, I'm really going through it right now. I'm trying, yeah, I think you're a little harsh with me sometimes, but you're right about at least this. Like, if he was even like trying to meet me in the middle, I'd still be his friend. But that was the last straw, man. Like, you being called out, and it was literally a bunch of shit that was his own creation. He was bitching at me about how mean I got with him, but he was the one getting all brolic in chat arguing with me. So it was like he started an argument he didn't want me to finish. He started down a path he didn't want to hear about. And then at the end of it, rather than looking at what he did and said and how he acted and how everybody around him in his life reacts to him and thinking maybe I'm the problem, he pointed at me. And it's not the first time he's pulled some shit like that. It's not the first time he's been that way with me. And it wouldn't have been the last, but it was the last this time. I told him to good luck with his life, and I hope he finds what he's looking for, and leave me the fuck alone forever, buddy. He's almost 30 and still acting childish. That's not okay. Yeah. And I talk about this all the time with people, right, too. It was a big topic last night on the stream when I was fucking just sitting here ranting and raving about, like, just the concern that I have that people that are in their 20s, pushing 30 and shit, sound like they're in fucking middle school still. Haven't learned to, like, process adult interactions at all. Never learned to shake a hand or look into somebody's eyes. Never learned how to interject yourself into a conversation while respecting the vibe and reading the room. Like, all of that shit, bro. What exactly did he do that precipitated this? Just Jason shit. He was in the chat, stirring up drama with other people, trying to get me to get angry, arguing with me back and forth, which is what this show's about. But he ended up getting butthurt about me being honest about him and our relationship as it related to his fucking trolling and shit. And it hurt his feelings. And, I'm not happy that I hurt his feelings. But sometimes you have to hear something that hurts your feelings when you're acting like a moron. And I would not have been any kind of friend to Jason if I let him act like a moron all the time and never said anything to him about it. If I just like doubled down, tripled down, like shoring up this personality problem. You know what I mean? Then I would be no friend at all to him. And so I really tried the whole time I was friends with Jason to be a true friend to him. You know, I just had to fucking call it at some point. Yeah, sometimes you just got to do that. It's like a 10-year friendship and plus that just fucking evaporates into nothing, right? Does Jason have mental health issues? I'm not a diagnostician. I imagine he probably does suffer with this, that, or the other. Lots of young adults that have zero life skills, order DoorDash for every meal, etc. It's no bueno. Yeah, it really is no bueno. Wait, did this happen on stream? Yeah, like 2 or 3 streams ago. I mean, I didn't stop being friends with him, but like, yeah, 2 or 3 shows ago, we had like, you know, I was doing a back and forth with Jason, like happens, which is what he wanted. He's an attention seeker, and so he wanted me to focus on him, and I gave him the Eye of Sauron, and he didn't like it. That's such a thing that happens here, is that people will come in here and they're desperate to be mentioned by me or to have me see whatever dumb shit they're writing, and oftentimes they get it and they don't want it anymore. It's like but there's no return to sender on my attention. You see? Once I've noticed you and noticed you being antisocial, negative, childish, trolly, and I put my eyeball on you, it doesn't feel good. I know how to make a person feel about that tall. And so really what people learn is, with me, at the very least, is don't touch the hot stove if you don't want to get burned. But Jason, because he was my friend, had circumvented and found a way to just lay his whole ass on the hot stove without taking a burn. Because I gave him leeway because he was my friends. You know, sometimes people are desperate to get up under somebody's skin, and when they get there, they want to get out quick. And that's Jason, man. That's happened like probably a dozen times over the course of the time I've known Jason, where he gets to a certain point where he's like in fantasy land, and I just dress him down and tell him what he actually is and what he looks like and what he sounds like to other people that are adults. And bro, it's sometimes it's pretty fucking harsh, the things that I've said to him. I ain't even gonna front. But you know what? I'm the only person in that motherfucker's life that cares enough to say that shit to him. Everybody else in his life just coddles his ass and lets him walk around and be a fucking antisocial idiot. I was the only person that cared enough to call it when I saw it. And, you know, now he's lacking that. Tried talking to the dude on Discord once. Jason had this whole thing, and it was completely separate from me because I warned him this wasn't the case. But he thought that because he was my really good friend in real life, that I was going to let him, like, act like a petty baron or something on my Discord. Like I was going to empower him. I was going to let him dog people out, drag people around, ban people. Dude, I never would give Jason a fucking iota of power. And I've told him this. Like, you're one of the last people in the fucking world that I would empower with anything. No, Jason's not a need. He's got a job. But that was the thing with him, is he thought that that's what we call abusing someone's friendship. When you get leeway because you're somebody's friend and you constantly make them dole that leeway out to you, you're using someone, right? And that was Jason. I set up a healthy boundary with Jason, and he would immediately put his toe across it. I would get real with Jason and tell him what was what and ask him to change. He'd look me in the face like a puppy dog and tell me sorry. And then a month later, he'd be doing the same shit. He didn't take me seriously. He didn't take the things I said seriously. I feel now at the back end of the friendship like I probably wasted a lot of time trying to help this dude. Jason treated me like I'm some toddler asking him to play games, and I've probably done more hardcore streetwise shit than, yeah, I know. That's the thing, Phoebes. It's like, I'll be honest with you about Jason, and this is just something that you probably know about him already. He's got a little bit of transphobia back there in his hip pocket. He's a little phobic of trans people, and I think that might be why he treated you that way. You know, I never ever let him get away in my presence with spewing hatred and transphobia and shit. I banned him for that shit. Oh yeah, he's gay. Gayer than gay. Yeah, I met Jason a couple of times in real life. Did he act like he did on here? Yeah, kinda. He almost got thrown off of a second-story balcony by Scotty for talking shit to him right to his face. The only reason Scotty didn't throw him off of his balcony is because I asked him to fucking let me handle it. So yeah, I was gonna say no, but yeah, Jason acted just like this. He's way too comfortable with racist stuff too. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I know that didn't come from a place of racial hatred or bigotry, but yeah, his edginess there, a little off the top, and he really did have some transphobia shit that he was dealing with. His transphobia was disgusting and uncalled for. But that was really when the decision was made. I was arguing with the guy. We were going back and forth. I got up to get a drink, and as soon as I was out of not watching the chat, he starts spewing transphobia at my mods and shit. You know, that was it. You didn't get invited to one of Diddy's parties, bro. It's like, man, if you gotta make up silly shit like that to be interesting, bro, you need to take a look, homeboy. No, you did not get involved to a Diddy party, homeboy. And if you did, I probably wouldn't go. Or maybe I would, but I'd take like a secret camera and I film that shit. My old boss said it perfectly when I got hired. She said, I'm not gonna micromanage you because you're an adult and I expect you to act like one. Yeah. D, go in. Well, lately I've been thinking that the rooms are all on fire. And a dun 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 dun. Paul, do you think fighting and butthurt is inevitable for most Discord servers? Seems to be that way, bro. Seems to be that way, man. I think the problem is really what I said it was at first. You can't empower anybody. As soon as you empower somebody in the community, you create a dichotomy between the cool kids and the plebs. And eventually it overruns the server because most of the cool kids, aka the mods and people that have drag powers and stuff, start to fucking, it's like the Stanford prison experiment. You guys ever read about that? Stanford University professor did a really unethical experiment where he took a group of college kids that volunteered for a study and he empowered half of them as cops and half of them as prisoners. And he put them in a makeshift jail cell and observed what happened. And I think it took like 2 hours for the sadism to start taking over. And the people that had power to start abusing it and using it in bullying ways and with no fairness, no even-handedness. I think it took like 2 hours, maybe even less, before the guards started to horribly, emotionally and physically abuse the prisoner students. And I think that's what goes on Discord and pretty much anywhere else where you empower people. I think if you create that prison guard / prisoner idea in somebody's head by empowering them in a community, it goes straight to that head. And they cannot wait to use that ban button improperly. They cannot wait to use that fucking power to mute people up and be a big fucking Jimmy Johnstone, right? It's just not the way it works, bro. So yeah, man, if I ever, and I mean this is a big if I ever tried to do a Discord again, it would be, number one, nothing but VC. There would be no text chats at all for people to spam up with weird fucking furry porn and shit. There'd be no porn at all. There would be no long discussions in the group about your porn fantasies or your furry dick drawing. All of that shit would be on another server. It would be a server for people to talk with one another and socialize with one another and argue with one another about things they believe in. And that'll be it. I will be the sole mod of it. And there will be no like arguing back and forth. My DMs are closed. And if you get banned, you're fucking banned. And that'll be it. And I guarantee you that one won't burn down because of drama. It might burn down because I have to ban everybody in it. But that one won't burn down because of drama. Well, now we're people talking furry porn in Salt Rackets. Bro, you can't have a Discord without people bringing their weird sexual fetish to it and just discussing it all the fucking time, bro. I don't know what it is, bro. And it's cyclical. You'll come in and people will be talking about a dragon dildo shaped like a dog dick, and then you come back in and somebody's drawing a squirrel with tits, and you're like, bro, not even fucking 5 seconds where your sexual fetish isn't worn on your sleeve? That's Discord, though. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna do that though. But if I ever decided I wanted to try another Discord, I wouldn't empower a single autistic motherfucker. Not a single Dunning-Kruger moron with a power trip would get mods off of me. And whatever happened to keeping things close to the chest, it don't exist anymore, man. We used to have a thing, you probably remember it, Pranav, called keeping your shit on the DL. Keeping it on the down low. Yeah, people from our generation, Pranav, we learned that shit quick and early. And we knew how to play our cards close to our chest, bro. We didn't have to put our shit out on Front Street all the fucking time. In fact, we knew it was good not to. Keep that shit on the down low. Know who to talk to about your fucking personal shit and who don't. Do you go on Discord? Everybody wants to flop their tits out and start drawing a fucking alligator that's got a pussy. And talking about what they gooned to last night. Talking about which fetishes they like to goon to and which ones they don't. It's just like the whole conversation becomes cyclical about sex fetish. And it just never stops, bro. Never stops. Whoever stole my copy of Microsoft Office, I will find you. You have my word. Good one, dad joke, but please stop. What did Jason say? I'm not even gonna... Jason said, I don't even know. I don't want to get into Jason anymore. I'll be honest with you, bro. We had a whole Jason talk. I'm trying to move past the Jason into a broader discussion, and we're not going to go back into Jason drama, okay? I told you what you need to know about that. That's that. I guess they think of it as sexual liberation, but it's not that interesting. Well, that's the problem. They can be sexually libertine all they want, bro. I don't care what you're doing as long as it's with consenting adults, right? Humans. Whatever you're doing within the confines of that, whatever fantasy world you've woven for yourself, bro, get it. But this idea that everybody wants to hear about how you put a butt plug in with a dog tail on it and wag it around and shit, fucking bro. Everybody wants to sit for 20 hours and watch you draw a squirrel with tits on it. Everybody wants to hear about what you're gooning to lately. Everybody wants to hear about your fucking like sex fetish online. I mean, bro. And like, it's just rampant, dude. If this was just like one person I was basing this on, it'd be one fucking thing, bro. This is like 90 to 100 fucking people in Salt Rackets whose whole personality was their sexual fetish. And they would try and turn every talk into a fetish talk. You'd be like, yeah, man, I think that fucking Biden and Putin need to get in a room and work this out. I think they need to get in a room and work out their buttholes. You know what I mean? And it just goes and it goes and it goes. It just never stops. Everything's like an innuendo. Everything's a sex pest thing. And it really is. Like, let me tell you guys something. This behavior that I'm describing isn't just like autistic stuff. This is sex pest behavior. You know what I mean when I say sex pest behavior? I mean, this is a person who is a sex pest. This is a person who gets off a little bit on you knowing what they're jerking off to. So they're actually using you. On your end, it's a conversation. But on their end, it's sexual innuendo. And they're loving it. Okay, this is sex pest behavior. When you lead with what you jerk it to, that's called sex pest behavior. That's called using other people for sexual gratification without them knowing it. You're an exhibitionist. You've got nothing in your personality except for the type of penis that you like to lick. You don't need to tell everybody that. You telling everybody that and never moving past it is sex pest behavior. People need to know that shit. You wear that fucking boner material on your sleeve and it's every goddamn conversation comes back to it, you're a sex pest. Yeah, well, no, they are down bad. That's why they're a sex pest. They can't get gratification on their own, and so they go out into Discord to get it from another person without that person knowing. Ooh, look at the dog dick porn I'm into. Look at the furry porn I'm into. Look at the anime Fudanari big dick porn I'm into. Ooh, I like Fudas. Ooh, I like furry porn. Ooh, I want a yiff. Ooh, ooh. And it's just like, you're a fucking sex pest, bro. Shut up. Turn off the Discord and go goon it out. You got one in the chamber that needs to come out. That's what it is with some people. There are people that this part of it is what gets them off. The humiliation of me calling them a degenerate scumfuck. Calling them like a fucking person that has nothing in their life other than their fucking slavish desire to have an orgasm every 10 seconds. Oh yeah, degrade me, daddy. You just have to ban these fucks. 100% of the time, dude. If you try and be open-minded, you try and let people have their interests and shit, you end up with a community that's just nothing but dog dick and trolling, right? I mean, that's what they want, no problem, but keep that, oh yeah. Keep it all the way to yourself, dude. Like, one of the least interesting things in the world to me is what other people are gooning to, bro. I can't tell you that I've spent 5 minutes in my 44 years thinking about what other people goon to on my own. I probably spent way longer than that dealing with what people goon to because it's part and parcel of how I do my business, or at least it used to be. Now I don't listen to people's goon fantasies, hypersexualization, fucking exhibitionist sex pestery. I don't even listen to that shit, bro. I just ban. I just name, shame, and ban. I say it all the time, there's something wrong with people who live online, don't have friends, and don't touch grass. This is the consequence. This is what they become. You're so fucking right, meds. They're broken. They're broken. They're socially broken. And the only way they can get gratification from people is by trolling or being a sex pest, or both. A lot of times it's both. I want negative attention when I'm not horny, and I want sex pest attention when I am. And it turns people into a solipsistic nightmare, bro. Just somebody with one single fucking viewpoint on their inner life, and that's all they do. Damn, you stream a lot? Yeah, it's my job. So yeah, dude, I work a lot, bro. People that make money doing what I do, and I've done that for 13 years, we're all hustlers. People that have been doing it anywhere near as long as I've been doing it, 100% a hustler, 100% a person you're gonna see working fucking 12-hour days all the time. A lot of people that think they want it, don't want it. There's a lot of people that want to do the job that I do, and they think that they want to do that. They look at it and they go, man, that would be easy. Man, that would be fun. They're not willing to put in, dude, they ain't never had the dedication. People hate and say we're changing, but we made it. Yeah, we made it. I was patient. Oh, I've been patient. Yeah, that's hard sweat pouring work y'all do. Not, I mean, if it's so fucking simple, bro, why don't you have a podcast? Why aren't you sitting on easy street too? Why you choose to go out there and bust your hump, Luca? If what I'm doing right here, which is making my bread exclusively as an entertainer online for 13 years and counting, is so easy, why are you sitting in here busting your ass and crying about it? Why don't you have a fucking podcast with a 5,000 member Patreon? Pays your bills every month, bro. If it's so fucking simple, why are you on the grind? Why don't you come get some of this easy money? You see? They never have an answer when you ask them that question. It's cowardice, bro. It's cowardice, and that's a person that's used to people not paying attention to their fucking chat and just drive by and with that. Oh yeah, you work real hard. Not. Dude, I worked a 12-hour day yesterday. I was in front of an audience entertaining people for 12 straight yesterday, bro. Where are you? What'd you do yesterday? You seen Red Bar's segment on your allegations? My allegations? What allegations, bro? And who the fuck is Red Bar? Fill me in. Something I need to watch? Yeah, what allegations, bro? What's been alleged? I'm about to get more band happy with these morons. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize the mental energy it takes to be a content creator. You have to be both smart, charismatic, and you have to be a hard worker. You have to be dedicated. You got to work 12-hour fucking days all the time. You got to always be thinking about when you can squeeze in more fucking access. J'accuse. J'accuse. Also doesn't take into account the years you spent honing your theater skills before even starting the show. TJ spent more than a decade building his audience that followed him to the show. I mean, yeah. People think this is fucking simple, but the people that point out how simple it is couldn't make a dime doing it. So I don't know how simple it really is. And see the dude that said that? Quiet as a little fucking church mouse now. He got nothing to say. Honestly, don't even know what you do on YouTube, but you seem cool as fuck. I do this, man. I have a podcast called Deep Fat Fried here on YouTube. You can go check that out if you want to see what pays my bills. But yeah, I do this for fun, man. This channel's not monetized. I don't make a red cent doing it. This is like fan outreach and practice and vocal warm-up for me. You know, I do this because I like it. An enormous amount of work went into the back end of the operation that the audience doesn't see, of course, but nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody thinks I just stream for 30 minutes a day and rake in $100,000 a year and call it a day. You know? People have no fucking clue. Red Bar's an investigation platform, bro. Chill. He goes over public figures to make sure people are being fucking good. Anywho, it's just stuff about the shit with the kids that people were on about. What shit with the kids, bro? What are you even talking about? Bro, you're just gonna get banned if you keep slinging like insinuations in here. You got something to ask me about, just ask me. Don't ask out of the side of your mouth. If there's an allegation made you want to hear me fucking talk about, dude, that's what I do here. What allegation about me? Don't be insinuating in here. Your next post better be whatever it is you're concerned about, and I'll address it straight, or you're gonna get banned. 100%. You got 30 seconds. You got 20 seconds. You got 10. Okay, there was an allegation made against you of sex crimes, and it's being looked into by Mike David and Rebar. Sex crimes? You need to be more specific. Give me a link. Somebody link me to this shit. Somebody make sure that this is not just fucking dude. Somebody accused me of a sex crime. I want to know who did it. Because I've got a lawyer for that type of shit. If I've been accused of a sex crime openly, and my name has been attached to an accusation of a sex crime, I've got a lawyer to send letters to people to do shit like that. So you give me specifics, bro. If I've been accused of a sex crime somewhere on the internet, no, unban him, Jawan. Unban him. No, go ahead and ban me. No, sir. No, sir. I'd like some more information from you. Who exactly accused me of a sex crime? Think this guy's trolling? You think so? No, I want to know. Nah, man, you're good. You're good. Oh yeah? Am I good? Your next post better be an apology or an explanation. You got one or two chances. I apologize for making an insinuation about you publicly that has nothing to do with reality, or here is the person that said you did a sex crime. Lawrence something in Omaha. Ban him. Ban him. The fuck are you talking about, bro? Dude, over the 13 years I've been doing this, about 5 or 6 people have gotten letters. And guess what they stopped doing? Insinuating shit that I never did. You think I let people say I did a sex crime, bro? Fuck no. You better hope that red band, whatever, red bar, red band, whatever the fuck it is, motherfucker didn't say I did a sex crime. Because he's about to get the 7th letter. I don't fuck around with that shit, bro. He just wanted to start drama. Well, he got it. You like Albania? Isn't it Albania? I don't know much about Albania, but I like people. Dude, it's a whole conversation going on about who I look like. That's one of the craziest things about this, bro. Is like, people would be drive-bying. They don't even know I'm reading this shit. They're like, he be looking like this. He looked like Lester from fucking this video game I played. And it's just like, man, are you guys going to go on and on? Or are you done? You got anything to say? Or is it just like, I'm going to discuss what this dude looks like because he's got long hair and a beard? How are you at chess? Pretty decent, but I lost like the passion for the game. My dad taught me when I was really young. I used to play all the time. So I'm half decent, but I don't have the passion and skill that I used to have. Hope they fixed the water fountain at the SSI office for you. Me too, shovel pushing. I hope you have fun making an alt. Do you play Wordle? Fuck no. So many people nowadays love throwing false sex and pedo accusations. It's degenerate behavior. I mean, it's just like, that's a sign of the times, bro. But I don't put up with that shit. I don't victimize people. I never have. I don't. I wouldn't. And anybody that insinuates different about me is going to get a letter from my fucking lawyer asking them why they think it's appropriate for them to pedo jacket me as a public figure. I don't fuck around with that shit, bro. Like I said, 5 or 6 people have gotten that cease and desist. Always works, too. Well, what are your thoughts on artificial cooling as a means to combat climate change? I I don't really have many thoughts. I think that's like refrigerate the world. Nah, bro. Where'd you get the death row gear? On the website somewhere, bro. I don't know. Like, do you guys think I walked into a shop and bought this? I went online and looked for cool shirts for fat guys, and I found a fucking shirt that did a bunch of band t-shirts and a bunch of old like music stuff and a band, like production logos like Death Row Records, and I bought like 5 or 10 shirts from them. They're high quality shirts, they're good printing, they're not gonna fucking fall to pieces, they fit me. I don't know what the name of the website was. It was a number of websites that I ordered from. So that's it. Why so sensitive about some guy saying stuff? Ban him. Why am I so sensitive about a dude trying to pedo jacket me in my fucking chat? Ban him. He's too stupid to be in here. He can't participate. Still anti-nuclear power? Yup. Still am. Paul, where do you get your shirts from? Ban him. Whew. I don't blame you for being so vigilant. Your reputation is everything on here. Your reputation is everything off here, bro. You think I'd let somebody in the street walk up and call me a pedo? Fuck no. Skibbity prime time. I know. It's like summer vacation is kicked in, and you can tell, bro. You can tell. You can tell the middle schoolers are home. That Xbox One X is fired up. Call of Duty has been screaming out of the fucking headphones for like a week now. You can tell, bro. It's prime time. All these fucking morons are here just from you streaming in portrait mode. Yeah. It's just people literally skibbity scrolling like this through the shorts, and they land on me and they're like, whoa, there's a dude. He has got a beard. He's talking. Lamau, this dude look like queso. And it's like fucking just endless, bro. And then most of them, probably because I speak in complete sentences and use multisyllabic words, only land about 5 seconds and they go, skibbity, because they're looking for somebody going like, right? But some of them just like hang up in here. They're like, you know, fascinated. But yeah, dude, that's what it is, bro. The people coming in here are literally people that are lost in the dopamine loop. They're like, duh, drool. Let's go. Like that's how the algorithm works now, bro. Lamel, that's a take, Paul. That's not a take. That's reality. That's a description of reality, bro. A take is something that's like up in the air that you've got an idea about. That's just reality, bro. It's 100% reality. You look like you just got kidnapped by alien. You sound like you're in kindergarten. You type like you're in kindergarten. Thanks for the feedback. Hey, are you married? Yes. My wife oftentimes will sit out here and talk to you guys as well. The take is assuming these spurgs are children. Oh, I call a child a child. You can be 50 and still be a child. The internet has underscored that in bold Sharpie. There are some people out there that have not grown and they're 35 years old. If you act like a child, I call you what you are, bro. Just because you got a few extra years on you does not mean you get the respect of an adult from me by default. You act like a fucking 10-year-old, bro. You do trolling and fucking skibbity shit that I would have been doing in middle school, bro, and you want to get away from it, I'm going to call you a kid, bro. That's going to be it. Quit smoking, quit trolling. See you next alt, bitch. Skibbity scroll on. What makes you think a grown-ass man needs to hear cigarette advice from you? Let me tell you something, bro. There's a crazy fact. Look right there. I've read that a million fucking times, homeboy. It's on every pack I smoke. And you know what? I'm not stopping, and you're not going to be the one that makes me stop. I'm 44. You don't have any advice for me. I don't need you for anything. If we can meet right there, we're going to have a good time, bro. But as long as you think your input on me is needed or wanted or respected, you're just going to get chain banned. Hard. And that's going to be that, bro. I know how Paul uses skibbity for everything kids do. I sure enough do. I sure enough do. Yeah, I got to have a word for it, right? And it's not just shit kids do. There are fucking, like I said, there are 50-year-olds on here that are skibbity as fuck. 50 plus. 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Skibbity, wibbity, flibbity, dibbity, dude. You think just because you grew a little hair on your balls that you doom scrolling like a teenager makes you an adult, bro? You're still a kid. I tard wrangle all day, dude. It's part of my job. Part of my job is tard wrangling the chat and empowering people to do it. Most of these people are probably grown-ass men and women, dude. People can't type. People act like they're on a T9 fucking Nokia. They're like truncating everything, using letters and numbers instead of fucking words, right? Dude, I'm constantly policing that shit. I'm constantly letting people know that if you ain't got one brain cell with a synapse and another brain cell, you can't talk here, bro. You haven't cracked a book in 10 years, you can't talk here. You don't have a job, you live at home, you play Call of Duty for a living and get mom aggro, you can't talk here. Because there's literally nothing you can avail me of. That's the problem, right? It's about a conversation. You can't conversate with a grown man. So you get banned over and over. Peep out Sausage Mahoney here. His drive-by was, I smoke rock. He's gone now. Like he never existed. He's on to the next alt. This is the skibbity toilet that I'm talking about. This is the skibbity toilet that I'm talking about. And you know what? The funny thing is all of you know what skibbity toilet is because none of you, and I'm talking to just people that are spamming, people too dumb, people that didn't learn reading comprehension, none of you carry this energy into the street. That's a problem I have with it. That's why I don't put up with it here. None of you bring this weird autistic, you know, like, do you like Ninja Turtles? That weird shit. None of you bring that energy in the street. But you feel like I'm gonna fucking, you're gonna bring it here and I'm gonna do nothing about it? No. I'll do this every show. I don't give a fuck, bro. I enforce a baseline. You gotta have cracked a book and you gotta be an adult to be up in here. If those two things haven't happened for you, you're gonna be gone. You're gonna be gone. Gone. That's all there is, bro. You gotta have a baseline to talk to a grown-ass man, and if you don't, zip. Bring that energy in public and see how long it takes to get your mouth slapped on you. No, banned. No, banned. What else you got? You want to make some killer-ass content, bro? You want to do what I do for a living? I got a way you could get 1 million views today. Take this energy that you've got in the chat out in public and film yourself getting slapped around. I'd watch that shit all day, dude. I love that skibbity shit. Other than that, keep your mouth shut up in here, though, bro. I can't reach you with my fucking open hand, but I'll use every fucking tool I got to bitch slap you digitally. 100% dare you to bring anything like that energy into public. Say it to the wrong one. How you doing, baby?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Hello, baby boy. The rooms are all on fire.
I figured since one of the goals I picked was so, like, heart for soul crushing, I did a kitty one to balance it out. So,
That's good.
an
Yeah,
awful
it's good.
goal.
So you're telling me that tonight is shaping up to be a soul crusher? Good to know.
But there will be kitties somewhere in there.
There will be kitties. Hold on for one more day. I think Paul had a point about summer vacation, but as a teacher, you're glad it's summer. I know you are. Yeah, dude. Those Xbox One X's and PS5s are humming, bro. Call of Duty lobbies are packed. Packed, dude. Fortnite, you can't even get a match, bro. It's summer vacation, bro. Paul, I miss your little jumping spider, buddy. Me too. I hope he's doing all right. That was one of the funnest things I ever got to do, was feed a little jumping spider a fly. That was wonderful. What a magic moment. When your lips are close to mine, they last forever. In my time, sweeter than a wine, softer than a summer's night. Those little guys, so cute. I know, man. They're so adorable. One of the little black and white guys with the green teeth. Yes. Little beauties with their big eyes in the front and their little hands like this. Hey, Paul, did you ever give Your Only Move is Hustle a try? A fighting game that is turn-based? No. And that's a bad question, bro. Have you tried? Have you watched? Questions typically get ignored, and when I do accidentally answer them, I tend to warn the person that I don't want to hear them anymore. They're just a waste of time. You write a paragraph, and the answer is no. It's just bad fucking form, bro. Talk about concepts. Ask interesting questions that have non-yes or no answers. What movie did you watch is only interesting to you. And that's not interesting to me or anybody else. Hi, I'm Germany, but I'm from Bulgaria. Cool. Hi, Germany. I'm from California. What's the weather like in Cali? Pretty hot, man. We had a heat dome that broke yesterday, and we're in like the high 90s today, and I think we're back up in the hundreds tomorrow. Just the way it works.
No, we still get
a couple days
before it gets over.
Another week?
Again. Yep.
Damn, we're being spoiled.
It's gonna be a sexy 88 degrees on Monday.
Damn, we're getting full-blown spoiled.
Today it's 99 though.
What part of Cali? Central Valley, so around the Fresno area is where I'm at. Starting some water quality testing volunteer work next week. I'm really hoping I can use it as a springboard to get into environmental work. That's how you start. You find a nonprofit, you become intimately familiar with the people that run it, maybe start your own, maybe get a paid position within that nonprofit. That's how you do it. You're doing the right thing. Perfect weather for having some evening fishing. Yeah, I mean, if you wear mosquito fucking netting or have mosquito spray. That's the thing about California, especially if you're going to fish down near the water in the summer, you will be eaten alive, bro. Mosquitoes are like fucking voracious here. There's a special kind of mosquito that exists in the valley. I remember reading a story about it like 3 years ago. They started popping up. They look like a mosquito, but if you look at them, they've got like a white stripe down their back. And it's a particular mutation of mosquito that happened here in California somewhere. And they're like Africanized bees in terms of like they're voracious. Like the mosquitoes here are different than mosquitoes elsewhere. they breed faster and they eat harder. Like they come for you, bro. And if you're the type of person that tends to get fucking mosquito bites, you're going to be done for down by the water if you don't bring some protection for yourself. Mosquitoes mostly leave me alone. Some about my sour stench keeps them away. I do get a mosquito bite here and there, but I will get one or two, and Amelia will be sitting out here with me. She's eaten alive. She gets 5 or 6 all up and down her arms.
All on my feet.
All on your
my
feet.
ankles.
Anything exposed, they're on her. I can be out here half naked and get one bite. They love me. I always get bit. There's something about certain people have a smell or like a fucking body chemistry. I don't know exactly what it is. That they just find like, they can't ignore it, man. Like moth to a flame type of shit. And then some people don't have that. And, you know, if there's anything else around, they'd rather find that before biting you. Study Islam, bro? Nah. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that. You want to know why I'm not going to study Islam? Because I can't get over the fact that the Prophet Muhammad of Islam married a 9-year-old girl and had sex with her. And that Islam spends a pretty profound amount of time in the Quran trying to justify that fact. I don't like that, man. When your prophet raped a child and it's part of your book, I don't really want to read much further into that book. You eat a banana right before going outside, they'll be more attracted to you. Really? They like that potassium or something in you? Not to mention he was a warmonger, an illiterate warlord. An illiterate pedophilic warlord. And you guys want me to bow to Mecca in honor of him? No. I don't bow to warlords. I don't bow to brutes. I don't bow to anybody that would hurt a child. And that's your prophet. You can't change that, neither can I. But you may as well just keep your Quran until that has been dealt with. Book of Dudism. Golden rule is greater than every religion. Yeah, I mean, every religion seems to have the golden rule woven into its theology somewhere. You partial to Buddhism? I'm partial to Zen Buddhism. I don't give it any more deference, but it's not alleging a god, so it doesn't really need deference. That's why I like it. You know, Zen Buddhism is about an inner journey, not an outer one. It's not about reaching out to the cosmos and touching the face of God. It's about finding God within yourself. Zen is the bad one? I mean, that's what a lot of people say, bro. Do you admire some aspects of Christianity? Of course I do, yeah. I like the community aspect of it. I like a lot of things that Jesus Christ had to say in the Bible. I just don't like his Christians. I think that 99% of the Christian church falls down absolutely flat, like they're not even trying to be Christ-like. I feel like they preach a lot of hate out of the Bible and not a lot what Jesus had to say about rich people getting into heaven and what moneylenders in the temple did and what Jesus had to say about the power of God being within you and not in the stones of your church or the vestments of your priests. They don't ever preach that from the pulpit. They don't ever preach, if you need to pray, go into your closet and pray to your Father, and the things that you say in secret will be heard. They don't want to preach that. They want to all walk around with their faith hanging around their neck as a big gold idol. And they want to point out the mote in your eye. Well, they got a big log hanging out of theirs. That's all fucking not Jesus, bro. That's not even trying to be Jesus. Yeah, they want to use it as an excuse to stand in judgment of other people and be more concerned about other people's problems than they are their own. And I can't abide that, man. I can't abide the hyperfixation on homosexuality when in the Bible it's pointed out as just another sin. The same thing as adultery, working on a Sunday, thinking about another woman, etc., etc., etc. But they want to put it like it's the biggest fucking sin in the world, and it keeps gay people from going to their churches, and that's the way that they like it, because they don't want queers around. You see? That hatefulness, bro? Sorry. You're going to have to deal with that. I can't help with that. I can't make your church not a bigoted fucking nightmare. I can't make your preacher fill your head with Jesus and not bigotry, right? That's on the Christian church. It's on you if you're a Christian and you're hearing this and feeling convicted by it. Not me. I'm an atheist. What would the world do without religion? Find another reason to kill each other, guaranteed. That's why I'm not one of these atheists that's like a religion abolitionist or something. I think if we like made it illegal to be a fucking Islamic worshiper of a pedophile prophet or a hypocritical Jesus follower who's so disgusting that Jesus, if he did exist and come back, would turn his back on them, I think that like that, you know, is the problem. That needs to be addressed before we can get into whether something's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I've read the Bible, and what I end up finding out, right, is that I know way more about the Bible and way more about Jesus Christ than your average fucking evangelical that wants to talk to me about going to hell. And when I start quoting Jesus at them, they get very, like, they want to pass it up the chain. They want to kick the can up to a pastor or something. They don't know that I've talked to 5 or 6 pastors in my life. I've been kicked up the chain. Never gotten an answer. It's always justification of selective bigotry. You can ignore this Old Testament law, but this one about men sleeping with men, I got it. That's central, right? You know, they'll talk about how Jesus came to not to abolish the old law, but to fulfill it. And they don't even know what that means. Jesus said, I did not come to abolish the old law, but to fulfill the law. That doesn't mean I'm going to enforce it. That means I became the sacrifice that freed you from having to be punished for eternity for these transgressions. So I didn't make them non-existent. I fulfilled them. I am the avatar of punishment. I am the lamb. I am the burnt offering on the altar. That's Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ came so that human beings wouldn't be held to the wages of original sin. That's all Jesus Christ came for, was to provide you a path that didn't include you having to follow a bunch of Old Testament rules. But for some reason, Christians will stand up on the pulpit wearing mixed fabrics and preach a whole thing about homosexuality while the log hangs out of their eye. Kingdom laws apply to the kingdom. Temple laws apply to the temple. Moral laws apply to everyone. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Gay marriage is legal. Render unto Caesar and quit pointing out the mote in someone else's eye while you've got a log hanging out of yours. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. You know what that means? That means Christians aren't about bucking the trends of, you shouldn't even be political if you're a Christian. That's what render unto Caesar means. Do you know that until the 80s, till like Reagan conservatism started, that Christians by and large didn't even vote and certainly didn't talk about it? Because they used to follow the Bible a little closer back then. But what happened is like politicians eventually figured out, like, dude, if I pretend I love Jesus, these people will vote for me. And he rope-a-doped a bunch of Christians into ignoring the Bible and listening to the words of a man. The Bible is explicit. Don't rise up against the government. That's not your purview as a Christian. You are concerned with the eternal reward, not the worldly. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. This world is fallen. You are about eternal salvation. You are about the eternity of your life. That used to be Christian. Now Christians want to fucking like have Donald Trump cutouts in their churches, wear Trump shirts and stuff. Because you know what? Their priests aren't preaching their Bible to them anymore. They're not telling people what Jesus had to say about people who loudly pray in public. They're not telling people what people had to say about the money lenders defiling the Jerusalem's temple, the house of the Lord. They don't ever talk about what Jesus had to say about you sitting around, riding around in an opulent SUV while people are starving in your backyard. That never gets preached from the pulpit. But you know what does get preached from that pulpit? Hate against gay people, hate against people from other religions, hate, bigotry, and fear comes off of that pulpit. Jesus wasn't about hate, bigotry, or fear, but for some reason you can't find a whole lot of Jesus in them churches. You find a lot of judgment, a lot of bigotry. Yes, I'm married to my wife, Amelia. I didn't consider the church I grew up in all that bigoted in terms of messages, but they had a big guilt-tripping thing. That's the thing, bro. That's the thing. They might look you in the face and say, it doesn't matter that you're gay, come on in. But you ain't going to be going there for long before you hear some hate from the pulpit. Or if you dig around on their website, you'll find it there. Dude, the website for the church that my parents goes to, my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law, and all my nieces and nephews go to, the website for their church has a huge prominent thing at the top of their what we believe statement that compares people that are gay and bisexual and trans to people that fuck dogs and children. Well, not children, but family members. They compare it to incest and bestiality. They put it in the same word. And that's broadcast right on the front of their church. But they'll smile in my face. My family will smile right in my face all the time and say, come on in, brother. But they got a big sign on the door that says, queers need not apply. They don't see the dichotomy in that. They don't see that Jesus would rebuke that. And that's that, bro. That's that. They right, though, get out. You're a bigot. Jesus would fucking turn his back on your ass. He would say, get thee hence from me. I never knew you. You used my name to push bigotry and hatred against other sinners when you yourself are a filthy, filthy sinner? You spent all your time worrying about what another person was doing in their bedroom and not cleansing yourself and trying to be like me? Get thee hence. I never knew ye. That's Bible right there, bro. That's not me telling you what's what. That's God telling you what's what. Get Pop 132 out. He's living in fucking 2014. He's never going to end. He's talking about a particular situation up in here. Bye. Let he who is out without sin cast the first stone. You never hear that off the pulpit. Love everybody. Love every sinner. Pull them to your bosom and show them the love of Jesus Christ. Don't judge them because you yourself will be judged. That's just Jesus, man. But I swear to God, man, there's not a whole lot of that in the Christian church anymore. It's all about exclusion. It's all about shit talk. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. It's all about bickering, making fun of queers, making fun of trans people, pointing out the mote in everybody else's eye. Well, a big giant log is hanging out of theirs. They don't read their Bible. They don't ever crack it. A lot of them didn't get the education that would be needed to comprehend what's in the Bible. So they need the words of a fallen man, a sinner, to tell them what they're supposed to believe about Jesus. They can't avail themselves of the words of what they call their God. They need some hateful, bigoted man to preach at them from the pulpit about everybody's fucking sexual immorality. It's sad, but it's not Jesus. It's right in the Bible what Jesus is going to say to those types of lukewarm, tepid Christians. You are neither hot nor cold. You are lukewarm, so I spew you from my mouth. Get thee hence from me. I never knew you. A lot of these people think that, like, I think it's so funny listening to the culture war and shit, right? So many Christians have gotten themselves sucked into the culture war. The idea of pointing out other people's sins and obfuscating your own, right? And they'll be so wrapped up, right, in this culture war shit, and they never look at what Jesus had to say about it. It's a fucking crazy dichotomy, bro. They will spend hours and hours and hours of their day arguing that homosexuality is an unforgivable sin. It's dirty. It's like beasts. It's this. It's that. It's like incest. It's like pedophilia. It's the same thing. Sexual immorality. Sexual immorality. And then you go to Jesus, right? What did Jesus have to say about this egregious sin that you're spending fucking 60 hours a week arguing people with about? And the answer is nothing. Not a syllable came out of his mouth about gayness, queerness, bisexuality, or trans people. Not a syllable. You think that might be a problem? You call yourself a Christian after Jesus Christ. He's your Lord and your Savior. And you don't know that he didn't tell you to do anything about gay people other than to love them like any other sinner and welcome them in? I got to be the one that taught you that? An atheist that doesn't even believe in your Jesus? I got to be the one to tell you that because you don't know your shit. I've read the Bible cover to cover at least twice. At least 2 times in my life. You feel convicted by that as a Christian? You should. Here's what I find funny about the culture war shit, right? People will talk about like drag bars or like libraries where trans people read to people, or places where people gather to do pride parades, or businesses that have LGBT pride flags on them like Target or Walmart or whatever, right? They will freak out about that. And if you listen to them, what they'll say is, oh, when Jesus comes back, he's gonna bring a sword and fire, right? And that is true. That is true. It does say that in the Bible. Jesus did tell us that when he comes back, he's coming with fire. But if you read a little farther, you'll learn what his first stop will be. So let's say Jesus is real. Let's say he comes back. Let's say he comes back with fire, like he says he's going to in the Bible. He comes to cleanse and make anew. He also says in the Bible what his first church is going, or sorry, what I just Freudian slipped it, what his first stop is going to be. And it's not going to be the Target. It's not going to be the LGBTQ plus fucking friendly coffee shop down the road. It's not going to be the Starbucks. It's not going to be the convention center filled with gay people celebrating being gay. He's stopping at the church. His first stop is cleaning up the soiled garment of his church, driving out the hypocrites, driving the moneylenders from the temple, driving the people that pointed out motes in other people's eyes their whole lives and ignored the log. He's coming with fire for you, Christians. Now, if you think you lived up to his fucking standard, you got nothing to worry about. But if I were a Christian, I'd be convicted by that. I'd go find that in the Bible, and I'd read it, and I'd realize the truth of it, and I'd ask my pastor about it next Sunday. Quit the yapping, blood. Skibbity scroll, bitch. Ain't nobody got you chained to the radiator, homeboy. Bye. Yeah, his first stop with his fiery sword is knocking on the door of every church in America and seeing if it's dead in there. Seeing if there was any Jesus there, or if it was just a bunch of moneylenders and hypocrites. And I think you know what he's going to find. There's a lot of really righteous people that are going to find out Jesus had nothing to do with them. That when they did bigotry, hatred, and division in his name and participated in the circus that is this fucking ridiculous culture war and political war going on in this country, when he finds out that your ass was in the thick of that, you think he's going to have love for you? Because if you do, that's not what the Bible says, homeboy. When Jesus returns to this earth, his first stop will be the church. You will be held to account first for what you said and did in his name. I'll be down the road a piece. He'll come visit the atheists down the road. He's coming to church first. What do you think he's going to see? Hallelujah. Thank you for hating people. Thank you for not being among the sinners like I told you to do. Thank you for letting mammon back into the temple. Thank you for letting the moneylender back into the temple. I love that your pastor is wearing an Armani suit and drives a fucking Bentley. I love that your pastor is living in a $2 million mansion and preaching prosperity gospel at you. I love that. You did a good job. Yeah, if you read your Bible, you know what's what. You know what's what. You know what he said about hoarding your possessions. You know what he said about how easy it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. You know what your Bible says. You don't need to hear me say it. You choose to ignore it and go after gay people. Go after trans folks. That's not my choice. That's yours. And if you are right, I don't think you are, but if you're right and your Jesus comes back, he's coming to you first to hold you to account for that. Uh-oh. Because that's all they can do is cope. They know I'm preaching Jesus. I'm not even a fucking Christian, and I'm here preaching the word of the Lord. Just like Paul. My name is Paul. You get the biblical tie-in? I'm telling them what Jesus said, and their ears are filled with bile, hatred, argument. And you know what? A lot of these people are going to Jesus if he comes back too. You think he's going to listen? But Jesus, I was good. But Jesus, I tithed. But Jesus, I went to church. But Jesus, I loudly prayed. But Jesus, I hallelujah'd. Your Bible says what he's going to say to that. Get thee hence from me. I never knew you. You wrought iniquity in my name. And you think I'm going to invite you into the Father's kingdom because you, the one I held to the highest standard, fell down the hardest? You got another think coming, people. You better hope your Bible is wrong about Jesus. That's all I got to say about that, bro. Your Christ didn't have a word to say about homosexuals. Not a single syllable out of his mouth. He told you to be among the sinners, that the least among you shall be first, and the first shall be last, that the meek shall inherit the earth. You think it's meek to make fun of queers all day from your fucking church? You think that's meek? You think you're going to inherit this place? Reaping iniquity with your mouth? Soiling the garment of the church? Spitting in the face of your Lord? Sinning against him in pride? You think he's coming back to give you a hug, bro? You think he's coming back with a fiery sword to punish the queers? He's coming for you. If you're right, he's coming for you. He's knocking on the door of your church next, and you're going to be held to account for your hatred, for your bigotry, for the sin that you wrought with your mouth, for the iniquity that you wrought in his name, for the hypocrisy that you wove, for the destruction that you meted out with your political bullshit. That fiery sword he's coming back with is for you. Not me. I'll be down the chain. He'll be knocking on my door eventually if he's real. I'll take my lumps too. I'm not saying I'm going to heaven. But guess what? A lot of you self-righteous motherfuckers out there in your dead churches listening to the words of man, haven't cracked your Bible in a genuine way other than to read an out-of-context passage here and there. If you feel convicted by that statement, Jesus is coming with a fiery sword for your ass. He's going to hold you to account for your ignorance. He's going to hold you account for your hypocrisy, for your hatred and your bigotry. He's going to ask you, why didn't you walk among the sinners as I did? And you're going to stumble, bumble, fumble, and lose. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. He said man should not lie with another man. No, that wasn't Jesus. That's Leviticus. That would be Leviticus, and Jesus did not come to abolish that old law, but to fulfill it. Jesus was the burnt offering. Jesus was the sacrificial lamb so that you didn't have to be held to account for everything in Leviticus. Isn't that wonderful? Why don't you know that as a Christian, though? I don't know. Jesus never once said anything about a man lying with a man. Jesus never once put sexual immorality above any other type of sin. Jesus loved the sinners. Jesus was out amongst the prostitutes, out amongst the drug addicts, out amongst the drinkers. He told you to be the same. He didn't tell you to cloister your way into a church and hoard your wealth. He told you to give everything you had to the poor and follow in his footsteps. And if you're not even trying to do that, and you're sitting all the way up in your church judging me, you better hope that Jesus ain't coming back, because that fiery sword that you like to fantasize that he's bringing for the gays and the sexually immoral, he's actually bringing it first to the hypocrites in his church. That's just biblical. You can argue with me if you want, but you'd be arguing with Jesus. Dude, look at the amount of bands that are having to be fucking tossed right now. There's a lot of really salty Christians listening to this right now. And that feeling you're feeling inside of you, that's called being convicted in your heart. That's what God does when somebody points out something about your soul that needs to be addressed. Yes, I am a bisexual man. What did Jesus mean by saying he was fulfilling the law? Okay, so what is the fulfillment of law? Justice, right? You have a law, someone transgresses, they receive justice. That is the fulfillment of law. Jesus said, I am the justice. I took upon me the punishment for you so that you may have everlasting life through me. Jesus was the final burnt offering, the final sacrifice, the final sacrificial lamb. And he provided a conduit directly to heaven for you because he died for your sin. That's what he meant when he said, I did not come to abolish the old law, but to fulfill it. He freed you from the burden of sin. All he asks is that you ask his forgiveness. You ask him to love you despite your sin. You apologize to him for transgressing. And you try and walk in his footsteps. You try and be as much like him as you can while surviving. That's all he calls for a Christian to do. That's what it takes to get into the kingdom. He didn't say anything about buying Christian jewelry and draping it around your neck. He didn't say anything about buying a $200,000 cross that's fucking 2 stories tall to hang at the back of your big glass front mega church temple. He didn't say shit about how rich and opulent and beautiful your house should be. He said you should be among the poor, the weak, the destitute, the needy, the sinners, the neglected. For they, the meek, shall inherit the earth. He said you should give away everything you've got and walk in his footsteps, serving the poor all of your life. I don't see a single Christian doing it. Not one. I see a lot of people biddied up in a church, hating on other people, gossiping, cherry picking their Bible, spitting in God's face. And when he comes back with a sword, you think he's going to hear your, but I didn't know? He says, what's going to happen when you say, but I didn't know? Yeah, you did. You had the Bible. You had the word of God. And you availed yourself of it not. Get thee hence. I never knew you. Something to think about other than whether or not I'm going to hell or not, huh? Something to think about if you're a Christian. If you're a Christian, I just gave you quite a few things to go look up in your Bible and think about that don't involve worrying about whether I'm going to hell or not. Yeah. Jesus didn't say anything about using the religion as a bludgeon to make people feel bad about their sin. That's all man. That's all your ego and your dark heart and your fallen nature coming right out of your mouth, and you're putting Christ's name with it. You think he's going to be happy about that? Well, I don't think so, because I've read the Bible and I know what he had to say about hypocrites within the church. All of the disciples were fallen men. Paul, my biblical namesake, used to be called Saul of Tarsus. He was a murderer and torturer. Definitely the worst of the worst among the apostles, but every last one of the apostles was a transgressor, a vagrant, a person in violation of holy law, a fallen sinner. They were not holy men that just fucking bought enough gold chains and wrapped enough gold crosses around their necks and proudly prayed in public loud enough that Jesus noticed them. It was the opposite. Jesus chose his apostles and disciples from amongst the least, the fallen people, the sinners, the lost, the meek. And he empowered those people. And you want to quote those people at me with hatred? With cherry-picking hatred in your heart? And you think Jesus is going to come back and pull you to his bosom? He told you what he's going to do to you. And if you're not hearing that from your pulpit, if you're not hearing, you better love people. You better stop judging. You've got a log in your eye and you're trying to point out the mote in others. You better stop hating trans people. You better start hating gays. You better hug your gay brother. You better call your gay uncle and tell him you're sorry you haven't talked in a while. You better start loving everybody. Because if you don't, Jesus is going to turn his back on you. If you're not hearing that from your pulpit, you're not getting Jesus from your pulpit. You're getting a man from your pulpit. You think Jesus would want you out there hating on trans people, calling them men, calling trans women men, calling trans men women, misgendering, otherizing? You think that's anything like what Jesus would do? You've never read your Bible. See, you're getting a sermon today. You're getting a real fucking barn burner today because your priests and your preachers and your pastors have been doing you dirty. I want everybody that's a Christian right now, listen to the word of God. Clean up your backyard before you ever worry about your neighbor's front yard. Christianity is maggoty with do-nothing rich people who talk shit for a living. And if you think Jesus is coming back with a fiery sword and you're going to get to kick back on the hill and watch him punish everybody that disbelieved, you won't be here by then. He's going to smite you first. He's going to send you screaming to the pit first, and most tragically, because you're held to a different standard if you profess with your mouth to be a Christian. Now you're getting some preaching. This is what preaching should sound like every Sunday on the pulpit. You should be convicted by your sin. You should be prostrate before Christ and asking him how to closer walk in his footprints. And if you're not doing that 24/7, 365, your soul is in jeopardy and nobody needs to hear about salvation from you. You worry about your atheist neighbor, your gay uncle, your lesbian aunt, You worry about their soul all day with a log hanging out of the front of your eye? Here's what Jesus had to say about that. You're lukewarm, so I spew you from my mouth. You're neither hot nor cold. You're tepid. I never knew ye. Get thee hence. Get thee hence from my temple. Get thee hence from my church. I never knew you. You were a bigot. You walked in the footsteps of a bigoted man. You never read your Bible. You professed with your mouth to me when I convicted you of it, that you didn't know. Yet you own 3 Bibles that you like to show off to people. Get thee hence. I never knew you. You're going to burn before anybody. Enjoy it. You wrought iniquity in my name. You wrought bigotry in my name. You pushed man away from man in my name. You made lesser the least among us. Did you not read in the Bible when I said the least among you shall be first and the first shall be last? Did you think I was lying? Feeling convicted? Any Christians in the chat want to admit that they feel convicted by what this atheist just said to them? Any Christians in the chat want to admit that they think more about the micro sermon that I just gave than anything their preacher said in church in the last 10 years? Any Christians want to actually admit the conviction that they're feeling in their heart right now? That from the mouth of a fallen atheist came Jesus when your church gives you none? Any Christians want to admit the conviction of their heart? Or are you going to pretend that God is convicting your heart to argue with me? Yes, I actually did. Well, thanks, Renee, for at least being honest. Jesus would admit his faults too, and did. Paul knows his shit. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, sir. Yes, I have something to say. Go ahead. Please do. The floor is yours, Lily. I'm a Muslim and I respect Christianity. I'm an atheist and I don't respect any religion that pushes bigotry, otherization, criminal acts against children, or anything of the like. That's where I stand. I don't give you baseline respect because you're religious. I give you baseline respect because you're a human being on this planet. We're all brothers and sisters in that way. Well, fuck your religion. You want to impress me with your religion? Follow it. That's all Christians would have to do to get me in their church, is act like Jesus. But I can't make them do that, so I will not darken the doorstep of their fucking holy places, ever. That ain't my problem. That's a Jesus problem, man. Sorry, did I miss what somebody said? I know I was waiting. Somebody said they have a question. All right, I'm still waiting for that. Just know if you're getting banned, it's because you're too stupid to carry out this conversation. Yes. If you're here to troll or if you're here to nut on me without providing anything, you're going to lose. Flies? Oh, I'm getting that salt gun, bro. Oh, I'm getting it. I got to get it, dude. Christmas this year, I'm getting the salt gun. I'm getting the double revolvers, and I'm going to be two-fisting them. Pow, pow, pow. 3 at a time, you fuckers are going to be dropping. I'm going to get one of those tennis rackets that's electric, too. In fact, I'm going to get that before the salt gun, because I can get one of those for like $10 on Amazon, so I'm just going to fucking order that today. You hear me, you little bastard? You know what I'm talking about, the electric tennis racket that fries your ass in midair? It's a little mesh that gets electrified when I push a button, burns you to a crisp in midair. It's coming. It may as well already be on its way. I'm getting one. We're getting it. I'm subscribing. You seem kind of heart. Okay, cool. Thanks for subscribing. Ask your question, Renee. Oh, she better not be asking you a question, Crooksbane. You know that I think you've been around long enough to know the side conversation rule. I was talking to Christians and they can talk to me. I want to hear from Christians who feel convicted by the Jesus that I just preached. I want to hear the honesty of the conviction in your heart. When you heard an atheist preaching Jesus to you about your own salvation, and it was more moving, stirring, and emotionally upsetting and emotionally thoughtful than anything your preacher said on the pulpit in the last 10 years, I want to know if I just convicted you in that way. In fact, I know I did, because I know it's being preached from your pulpits. Prosperity gospel and otherization and bigotry and self-reliance and fucking pull up your bootstraps and all that bullshit. There's no love, there's no Jesus. You just heard some love. I'm not a follower of Jesus, but you just heard some love out of an atheist. And I used your Bible as a sounding board for that love. You ought to feel convicted by that. Jesus loved all the gay people, he loves them. There is not conviction here in my heart. I think there probably is, Lily. I think there probably is a little bit of conviction in your heart. Just want to say, you sharing the whole sense of isolation thing with your family, caring more about the church, helped me through a similar hardship. I'm going through it right now. A lot of the reason I've been talking about Jesus so much is because I've been open with my family in a door that's been closed. My dad, I'll tell you guys. I'm not going to tell you everything because it's really nobody's business, but I'll tell you what I've been going through in my personal life to underscore some of this Christianity stuff, right? So my whole family is Christian. Most of them attend one church, right? And have for a very long time. And they routinely, some more than others, my mom mostly, will try and get me to go to that church, invite me to things at that church, and I will politely decline to go to that church. We've had kind of a standing rule that I think is really unbalanced for me for probably about 20 years in my family, and that is, we don't talk about religion, right? And the reason why it's unbalanced for me is because it only applies to me. I have to sit there politely while they nod their heads in prayer before I eat a fucking barbecue meal with them. I have to listen to endless stories about what's going on with their church and what they read in the Bible and how God is good and how this is that, right? But if I say anything that's on my heart about their religion, I'd be called, they wouldn't want to be around me, right? So it's a one-sided rule that I've allowed myself to be sucked into. Fast forward to last year, my father and I'm not going to go into why because it doesn't matter, have been estranged for a long time. Well, we hadn't talked in, I think, 8 years at that point. I heard through my family that my father was dying of cancer and that if I wanted to see him before he went, that the time was now. And so I went and did that. I went to see him in the hospital, and it was kind of like a turnaround that had happened the day before I got there. He was on death's door. The morning that I got, I got there in the middle of the night. They wouldn't let me visit him at that time. I slept in, and the next day I went and saw him, and he pulled through. Right? He pulled through. They didn't think he was going to, but he managed to claw back his sanity and claw back his life. And now he's a survivor. Now he's cancer-free. Now he's in full remission, as they call it. No signs of any new active growing cancers in his body. He's getting healthy. And he has a whole new mindset on life that includes Christianity. My father's a different kind of relationship than my mother is. He and I butted heads, but not like my mom and I did. My dad and I butted heads when I was a child because he was very disappointed in everything that I did, really, honestly. He's never told me that, but he wanted me to be a certain way, and I wasn't a certain way. It's a very common enmity that fathers have with sons. And I had problems with him as an adult because he carried what he saw as my failures as a child into my adulthood and seemed to take kind of like perverse glee in embarrassing me about stupid shit that I'd done when I was 10, 12, 13, 18, right? And as a grown-ass 30-something-year-old man, I had to sit and stew in that juice, right? So that's the problem between me and my dad, or that was the problem. My dad is really, like, in his defense, a changed man, like he professes to be. He goes to church now. He really considers his religion. He knows that he's new to it. Even though he was raised nominally Christian, he knows that this is different, and I can tell it's different from him. And one of the things that's changed about him is he wants to talk to me about religion. And I decided right at the start, and I warned him, I said, Daddy, we can talk about this till I'm blue in the face, because I think it's a fucking really interesting topic. But I have to warn you that I'm not going to give you the deference that I give everybody else. I'm going to tell you what I actually think about your religion. I'm going to be honest with you. And he said, oh, that's what I want, PJ. That's what I want. And he did want that. He and I have had really fruitful conversations, never screaming, never pointing fingers. He tends to agree with a lot of things that I say. He's looking into it. The guy is really genuine. We're having a dialogue, right? And so that kicked the door open to my mom talking to me more about religion. And I gave her the same talk. I said, Mama, I do want to talk to you about this religion thing because it's been hanging like a big old turd in the air for 20 years. I haven't been allowed to speak my mind on it because it would be seen as like antagonistic or whatever. I don't want to antagonize you, Mama, but I do want to talk about this. And she said, well, so do I, Peaches. And that conversation went on for 6 hours and included my mom yelling at me yelling at her. It was an old school thing, just like we used to when I was fucking like 14 and still living in her house. We're a lot similar and stubborn, and we were just butting heads. But ultimately, she just wasn't listening to me. I'm not trying to like say I didn't, like, look, I either wasn't explaining myself correctly or she wasn't listening. I think it was maybe a little of both. But at the end, the last 45 minutes of that 6-hour conversation with my mother, filled with absurd, like, gaslighting and fucking emotional manipulation and shit, right? The last 45 minutes, she actually listened to me and agreed with everything I was saying. I don't know why that's on our website, PJ. I'm going to have to ask the pastor about that. I'd like you to talk to the pastor. I said, well, Mama, I'd like to talk to the pastor too. That's fine. But I really want to talk to you. Well, I just don't know the answers. I was like, well, maybe you could find out for me. Okay. Right? We ended it with love like we always do. My mother and I can fight like that and then love each other the next day. That's just, we're family, right? It's a toxic feedback loop. I'm not saying it's normal or normalizing that kind of yelling at each other. And she said some real hurtful things to me, bro. Like, she went below my belt a couple of times looking for the burn because she felt backed into a corner. Once again, I'm not trying to put words in her mouth or thoughts in her head, but I think she felt convicted, like I was talking about earlier. I think she felt convicted in her heart hearing the things that I was saying about Christianity and how it made people like me feel, and how I would never darken the doorstep of a place that compared me to somebody that hurts animals for sex or has sex with his family. Like, bisexuality, lesbianism, and homosexuality and transgenderism are mentioned literally in the same breath, in the same sentence on their website as bestiality and incest. I also asked her, this is an aside, why ain't pedophilia there? Seems like you'd explicitly want to call that out, but I don't see it mentioned anywhere on your website. So being gay, don't come. Pedophiles, okay? She was like, I don't know, PJ, that's a good question. Yeah, it is. But you'd never have asked that question because you're not interested in seeing if there's Jesus in your church or a man's bigotry. In fact, you're afraid to look under that rug at what you'll find. And Jesus has no place for you in the kingdom if you're that way. You're convicted in your heart because Jesus calls on you to do everything you can to be like he is. He knows you're fallen. He doesn't expect you to be him. He expects you to try with all of your might to carry him in your hip pocket. And if you're being a bigot in your church, right? If your church thinks they have to label people that are gay in the same sentence as fucking bestiality people and incestuous people, my guy, your church is stricken with bigotry, stricken with hatred. Your church is a glass house and your pastor is throwing stones at you. You understand what I mean by that? fat Jewies. Jesus, man. The skibbity is out of control, but the viewers are up. People are listening. And I hope they're really listening. It goes back to what's good for the chieftain or the king. Yeah. Churches preach against homosexuality while fighting to keep child marriage legal. Weird, right? Why ain't that on there, man? Why is pedophilia not on there, bro? Are they welcome in your church? You think Jesus forgives them easier than a gay man? I think the answer to that is kind of weird, bro. You want to know why I think that is? Because I think a lot of these hyper-evangelical churches are based on this premise that every word in the Bible is true and should be adhered to. And if you've read your Bible, like I have, you know that the Old Testament is filled with like, go amongst them and slaughter all the men and women and all the priests of their temples, but the little ones take for your own to your bed. It's filled with God like commanding people to kidnap the enemy's children and rape them. Blessed art thou that taketh the little ones and dasheth their brains against the stones. That's why I think pedophilia is not listed on that church website. Because I think they think that God sanctions pedophilia sometimes, and they don't want to be in violation of that. That's fucked up. I don't know what denomination. It's evangelical Christian. I don't know if they have a denomination beyond that. Very, very typical.
I mean, there's a lot of
Church.
churches where, like, they think they're even more right than other churches in their denomination. We're the only church that
Right.
actually knows what's
Right.
going on.
The division that's in the church is the first thing that'll be addressed by Jesus. He's going to go to all of these cultists that started their own sect of the church and spent their whole day preaching and looking down their nose at other Christians. He's coming with the sword first for them. The hypocrites, the liars, the cheaters, the sophists, the people that did iniquity in his name, they're getting it first.
That's why religion wasn't a big part of politics at the beginning. Because
Well, I explained that earlier. You weren't here, but we talked about how before Reagan, Christians knew better than, because like in their Bible, it says, render under Caesar. What is Caesar's? Render under the Lord. What is the Lord's?
And
That
they
means,
just infought so
that
much.
means Christians got no fucking place arguing about politics. Politics is a manly, worldly thing. You are concerned with eternity, eternal life in heaven with your Lord. Do not waste your time at your pulpit involving yourself with politics, is what that's about. And now Christianity is anything but. It's the center of the culture war. You got hate, bigotry, and culture war being preached from the pulpit. You got cherry picking of the Bible. Your pastor is reading you Leviticus, but not the parts that say you shouldn't wear mixed fabrics. The pastor is reading you Leviticus, but not what Jesus said about how easy it is for a rich man to enter the Father's kingdom. Hint, it's impossible. You're not hearing that from your pulpit. You're not hearing anything Jesus said. You're hearing cherry-picked shit from the Old Testament, which, by the way, Jesus came to fulfill. You know what that means? I did not come to abolish the old law, but to fulfill it. That means he took the punishment for you, so you didn't have to be held to that ridiculous standard of never eating shellfish, never eating pork, never wearing mixed fabrics, never working on a Sunday, death penalty for cursing your mother or father, etc. That's what that means. You can look it up. So the fact that you want to cherry pick that Old Testament and call gay people fallen more than you in your pride tells me you don't know your Bible, you don't know your Jesus, and if your pastor isn't preaching this to you, your pastor doesn't know your Jesus. Think that might be a problem? That the time you spend in fellowship is coming from a bigoted man with a worldly view? You feel convicted by this, Christians? Anybody go into a church where there's politics on the pulpit? When I say politics, I don't just mean Democrat, Republican shit. I mean, let's talk about woke. Has that word ever come out of your pastor? Jesus wouldn't have a word to say about woke. He certainly wouldn't want his people running around acting like it's the problem, with the log hanging out of their eye. That ain't Jesus. Anybody at all want to admit that they feel convicted by what I just said? I'm interested. I know there's some Christians up in here. There's 222 of you. Jesus is God? That's not what I asked you, homeboy. I asked if you feel convicted by the fact that you're getting more Jesus today out of an atheist than you have out of your fucking pastor in probably 10 years. Wondering about that, man. Wondering how that feels. Wondering if anybody's willing to admit the conviction in their heart that they're feeling right now. That's all I want to know, bro. Crazy and true, though. I know. Paul didn't even pass around a collection basket. Yeah. I'm not asking you, please support Jesus with your faith today. Give the largest bill you can. Collection plates are going around in 2 directions, and if you want to fill them both, that's okay with Jesus. I ain't ask you for $1 or a dime or a moment of your time. I tell you to skibbity scroll, you don't like what I'm saying. I don't want your fucking money. I make plenty of money doing what I do. I do this because I enjoy it. I don't need a stipend. I don't need you to tithe to me to support my fucking living situation. I give you something in exchange for that. I work online. I'm an entertainer. I have a podcast. People can sign up for the Patreon. That pays every bill I got and then some, buddy. I don't need the money from here. I'm not here to make money off of you. I'm not here to care about you putting a 20 in the collection plate like your pastor is so he can drive his Bentley, wear his fucking expensive suit, and expand the big glass edifice of your house of fucking sin and self-worship. I'm just a dude who's read the Bible quite a few times and knows what Jesus had to say. That's it. That's it. Got here and wanted to jump in. Cool. Paul, how are you going to afford that private jet like that? I don't know, man. I'm going to have to figure. Maybe I'll have to work for it. I don't know. Maybe the Lord will provide. Loving any person more than you love Jesus is a sin? Yup. And loving someone means listening to them. And a lot of Christians have not heard the words of Jesus in a long time from their pulpits. And that's kind of sad since they're Christians. They're named after him, Jesus Christ. Looking fine in those sunnies. These are my actual like day-to-day glasses. They just have what you call it? Transition lenses? Is that what they're called? Transitions. Yeah. So when I'm outside, they shield me from that. But when I'm inside, they pretty quickly too. They used to, I think my dad, he said, oh, you got those transitions? And he watched them changing and he was like, whoa, they're doing that. He's like, I used to have them, but I got rid of them because it took too long. And I was like, nope.
Yeah, before it'd be like dark like sunglasses for like a couple minutes after you come in.
He said it was longer. He said it was like 5 or 10 minutes sometimes before you got fully clear glasses after being out in the sun. And these clear up in less than a minute and go opaque in less than a minute. So pretty nice. Dolce & Gabbana lenses. These are Zeiss lenses, actually. Zeiss is a German, an old, well-respected German lens maker. Make things for satellites. They made the camera that Kubrick shot Barry Lyndon with, etc. These are Zeiss lenses made in Germany. Super duper, like, I mean, they're just great lenses, right? And I need them. Like, I keep taking them off because I'm not entirely comfortable wearing fucking glasses all the time yet. But I need them. I can barely read you guys with my glasses off, and now I can see you super clear. So it's like, I clearly need this. I have a pair of glasses that are actually focused better for this. Like, my work glasses, I wear them on the show. Used to wear them out here, but I got these fucking transitions back finally. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Paul, if you could give 20-year-old you any advice, what it would be? None. You're talking about a crazy fucking paradox, bro, that I would fucking tell him something, right? And then I would immediately change into a person I didn't know. Like, if I fuck with myself in the past with any advice, I don't make the hard mistakes I've had to make in my life to get to where I'm at. I learned nothing. I would become dude, you guys would hate my guts if I hadn't learned any fucking lessons. A lot of you hate my guts anyway. I'd be a way more hateable motherfucker if I never learned a hard lesson or two. Never got my mouth slapped up, never got my fucking money fucking hustled bustled off of me, never done something stupid, never gotten a bad relationship and let it be toxic for too long. Dude, I would go back, you would go back and warn yourself away from the very things that made you who you are? Oh, word, dude, what advice would you give current 20-year-olds? I don't know. Education isn't always about employment, and it doesn't always have to involve college. I guess that would be it, man. If there's one thing, and maybe it's a misconception that I think about people in that age range, it's that I feel like a lot of you are lagging maybe 10, 15 years behind where I was at your age in language and comprehension and shit. Not trying to call you stupid, but the numbers don't lie. We're graduating functional illiterates at an alarming rate here in the United States. The consequence of that is a person who wants to feel like an adult but really doesn't have the facilities to interact with adults. So I would say, yeah, that would be my advice, man. Education is not always about employment, and it doesn't always cost money, and it isn't always about finding something better to do for a job. Sometimes it's about enriching your mind, and if you did a little bit of that, I think that would help. You getting enough exercise? Yeah, thanks for asking. Get banned. Don't be afraid. That's so impertinent. We're sitting here having a fucking like actual adult conversation, and a dude wants to come in here with a sideways fat joke that he would never say in public. So impertinent, bro. Young people do seem to be a lot less mature 50 years ago. Whoa, you got kicked, yeah. Chad is getting enough exercise. Yeah, dude. I'll do my stretches here for you in a minute. It's about that time. Usually between like 10 and noon is when I do my yoga stretches. It's nothing impressive, but you have to keep in mind that I was really way bigger just about 6 months ago. And any flexibility that you see displayed when I finish this cigarette and go do my stretches for the day, my first ones, my morning stretches as I call them, was one with a lot of work. I had to work. So I'll show you guys here in a minute. I used to just walk over there and say, hey, I'm going to take a break real quick, and I go do my stretches. But I started showing it, and people seem to like it, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to let you guys like watch what I do. I might be in trouble though this time. I'm going to have to go change my shorts. I'm wearing a pair of like old baggy shorts that don't fit me anymore, and I don't want my pee-pee and my butt coming out. So I might have to go put on another pair of shorts real quick. So I'll do that. I'm glad I thought of that, because you guys might have got a show right there. I mean, it wouldn't have been much of a show. It would have been a micro show, but that might have been a real whoopsie daisy. Nah, keep the old ones on. Pass, bro. No, I got a pair in there that I know won't be slipping down. You guys might get a little plumber's crack, but you ain't gonna get the full Monty, bro. No, my DSP, because I would have to be jerking off. Like my DSP moment would have to be my pants fell down while I was masturbating on camera and didn't know the camera was on. That would be my DSP moment. That's a little deeper. It would be my uh-oh SpaghettiOs, Paul wasn't lying when he said he had a small penis moment. Paul wasn't lying when he said he's a grower, not a shower. That's for patrons only. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Paul, I'm also trying to lose some weight, but I struggle with the cravings. How do you manage? Dude, getting on CPAP, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I don't get cravings. It's like last night. I didn't eat much yesterday. I worked a long day. I was 12 hours in front of the camera yesterday, which is crazy. And at late night, it was late night, and I was kind of craving some French fries. So I ordered some French fries and a Diet Dr. Pepper from Jack in the Box. I made some poor bastard DoorDash me that shit at like 2 in the morning. And I ate the fries. And I got a box of 3 jalapeno poppers and I ate those and the craving was sated. I don't know, dude. Like the craving shit has gone way off a cliff for me since I got on CPAP and started eating way more fiber in my diet. Like I don't get hungry. Like I have to kind of like go, okay, yeah, I guess I could eat now. And I used to eat all day, every day. And bad shit too, dude. All the shit you would imagine that a big fat guy that weighed almost 400 pounds would eat. Cheetos, Skittles, fucking freezer pizza every night, ordering out at fucking DoorDash, getting fucking McDonald's. And I'd never just get like the 2 cheeseburger meal and leave it at that. It had to be supersized. I had to add 2 more cheeseburgers or another double or a chicken sandwich or a fucking this. It was always I had to have a little something else and the meal and the largest size of everything. I do that twice, sometimes 3 times a day. I did it for years. And the end result of it was I got real fucking fat, and I'm still on the upper end of that, man. I weigh about 330 pounds. I think I weigh more like 320 pounds now, but I don't weigh myself. So next time I go to the doctor, it'll be in a few months. I'll know then. I expect in a couple of months, I'll probably be around 300. I got off the monsters in my 30s. Because I almost passed out driving between my school sites one day. Because my heart rate was fucking through the roof and my blood pressure was through the roof and I was sauced up on like 3 of those fucking monsters. Yeah, dude. I don't do that shit anymore. Look, dude. Right here is the caffeine I will have today. 1 cup of coffee. And that's all I need. And I have 1. Maybe 2 on a day where I'm feeling a little fucking tired or worn out or whatever. That's my limit, bro. I don't crack I won't even have a dude, I will have a Red Bull, a sugar-free Red Bull, if I'm on the road and I want to push through like 2 more hours and get to the hotel instead of stopping. I don't fuck with caffeine, dude. I almost stroked out on caffeine. I'm not even gonna fucking lie to you guys, dude. I used to work at Starbucks. One of the things that, I don't know how it is now, but back then, infinite drinks while you're on the clock, and basically implicit infinite drinks anytime, because your friends at this fucking store ain't gonna charge you when you come through the drive-thru. Can you explain the Oripidu meme I keep seeing? Yeah. I did it on another show. Maybe somebody could tell you the name of the show, because it'd be better to go find that timestamp. But basically, Donald Trump, sweaty, orange, looking like he's about to pass out, was doing a rally like 3 months ago. And all of a sudden, his brain shorted out and his eyes went wide open. And I shit you not, Brianna, you can look it up. We have a short of it on our fucking Onion Nuggets channel. He said, and I'm going to try and do the impersonation. Nobody knows what he fucking meant. I think it was like a senior moment or a sundowning thing. But like it makes like Trump people cope and seethe and mauled and stuff. Like that barman guy that went like, loser. Because they don't know what they know he said, with his eyes blown open like a cokehead, but they don't know what he said. No, I'm dead ass serious. He said,
I'll find the clip.
Amelia's going to pull up the clip again, and I'm going to show it to you guys. All right, Brianna? You got a treat. Because my wife fucking loves to help me out. She's gonna find the clip of we put it up. Just
this one has context too. Someone sent it in.
No. I want the short that I can just replay it over and over. Okay. Can you find that one on our channel again? I think it's called literally a reapy-doo ah. I think if you search that, it should come up. But Joe Biden, we need to name it something easier. Thank you. No problem, Brianna. It might take us a minute to fucking track it down because YouTube is shit. But it's a short. It's been up on the Onion Nuggets channel. We'll find it.
I sent it to myself.
Did you?
Yes, I didn't.
Oh shit. Well, this time we will.
Yeah.
Because people ask about this Waripi-doo-ah shit, and a lot of MAGA cope happens about it. And I want to hear MAGA people. MAGA people are welcome here as long as they're fucking adults that can read. But I want to hear what, like, if you're a MAGA listening right now, I want to hear what you think about with his eyes blown open like he's lost, bro. I want to know. And I'm not even fronting on Trump. Biden says some weird shit too, like vote for the other Biden. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the black kids like to rub my legs, and I know about roaches. He says all kinds of crazy fucking out-of-pocket shit. I'm not a Biden supporter, just in case you might be thinking that. But I am going to ask MAGA up in here what this fucking video is that we're going to try and find and show you.
I don't know why I could have. Let me just do it again. I'm sorry.
It's all good, babe.
I don't know why. I thought I sent it to myself. I guess I lost it.
What do you want to know? My wife's. I'm gonna show it to you. Okay, you just gotta hang with me. My wife's gonna go find the link. It's a fucking short that we made on a channel. It's got a ton of shorts, and it's about YouTube sucks at finding old shorts. So, but in short, what you're waiting for is I'm gonna show you Trump, and he blows his eyes wide open like a cokehead, like he's lost, and he says, and I quote, "What and like nobody's been able to tell me like what the fuck what did he say there? And I've never, like, every time I've asked MAGA, all I've gotten is cope. It's like, oh, he was saying, what are we going to do? And I'm like, no, and I'll literally do it for you, dude. Like, I'll chant it while he's doing it, because she's getting a video that just loops it. Loop. Oh, Johnny found it. Cool. Johnny found it. You can go look at it, but I'm going to show it to everybody. So just hold that thought, okay? But Johnny did find it there. Amelia's going to go get it right now. She might be still watching the chats. She might just use that. Yeah, did you get Johnny's link? Okay, hold on. Pause it. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, here it is. In black and white. I'm going to crank it up. So, oh, fuck, I locked it. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button instead of the volume.
It's okay. It's turned up.
Okay, all the way up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so MAGA, this is what you were waiting for, right? I'm going to try and show it so it's real clear. You should be able to hear it okay, right? Hold on, let me find the angle before I even start so you can see this isn't like AI. Oh, fuck, I did it again, bro. I hate your phone, but I know you hate mine too. I'm just not used to like the sensitivity problems of your phone. Okay, there we go. Let me get the angle. There you go. You can see it's Trump. He's at a rally. Okay, there's his sign. It's this year, 2024, Trump. It's like 3 months ago, I think he did this. His eyes, his mouth, his sound, right? I'm just gonna let it roll for a minute because I don't want anybody to accuse me of like misrepresenting it. That's him. That's him right there.
You can provide the context if you want.
No, that's your job. Because nothing before, that came before or after, is going to make that make sense. So that's what I was going to ask, MAGA. The fuck was that, bros? With his eyes blown wide open like he's lost and on coke. Bro's at Biden level. There ain't no difference, dude. Biden's shaking hands with the air and talking to people that aren't there, talking about world leaders that have been dead 20 years. And Biden is literal literally sitting half asleep in the trial for his life with a big old Duke in his diaper.
You mean Trump?
Oh, sorry,
Biden.
Trump, the orange man. Other peepaw poopy pants, right? Is sitting in court like this, loudly snoring, stinking, according to his lawyers and all of the people around him. The smell coming out of his Duke diaper was immense, right? So you've got on one hand a dude shaking hands midair, tells weird stories apropos of nothing, can't get a sentence out without stumbling, bumbling, mumbling, or fumbling, or forgetting what year it is, or forgetting that he had a son that died, or whatever. Do you guys see the creepy Biden smile thing that happened when they were like, hey, somebody asked a question as he was walking away, and Biden did that thing where he stops to answer one last question, but instead of answering, he just went like, I'm shit you not, this is what he did. He was walking away, right? And they're like, Mr. President, do you blah, blah, blah? And he went, and walked and like wandered off. Bro, that shit just happened. Here's another Biden one. Just the other day, it was Juneteenth, just the other day, June 16th, right? It was yesterday, I think. There's a video, maybe Amelia will be able to find this for me, of Biden standing at the Juneteenth celebration, right? A bunch of black people standing around him, right? They're all clapping. They're listening to like a music thing, and Biden's standing there like old man. You know how he is. He's like, and I'm shit you not, dude. I'm an actor, right? I watched this thing like 10 times. I'm not hyperbolizing at all, right? I'm just gonna do what he did, right? Here it is. So just imagine that, like, okay, yeah, you don't have to imagine anymore because here it is. Thank you, Amelia. Do you have the thing where it goes full screen? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Let me just rewind this. Is it all the way up?
It's like halfway up.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it all the way up because I want people to hear and see. Okay, cool. This is gonna be a little darker, probably more reflecty, but I think once it starts playing, I might be able to get it right for you guys. If it doesn't, I'll just reenact it for you. That's a little tough for me to see. There it is. So watch Biden. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Damn it, this is a long one. Okay, wait. Now here's the point. So this is just like the long version of it. That 30 seconds was just him standing there going, okay. So here's where it gets weird. There it goes. Watch. This is not the one I saw. Didn't even fucking show the moment that I saw. Here's what happened in the fucking short that I saw that's all over the place. Because that shit was just, that's New York Post cope trying to make it look like he just smiled his way through it. They cut out the part where he looks fucking lost and trying to make it look like a right-wing conspiracy. I fucking saw that shit, bro. Here's what happens. I don't want to love nobody but you. And then Biden goes like this. His eyes go from like that smiley old man to like this, bro. I don't want to love nobody but you. He goes like, and his hands freeze in a weird pose, like he's like this. He's like he had a Mitch McConnell moment, and they're cutting it out and trying to make it look like it's a right-wing conspiracy that he looked weird by showing him going like. The short I saw was not fake. The short I saw was being widely posted.
No, it's in there. You just couldn't see it when you were showing them.
Yeah, you guys got a better facsimile. Go look it up for yourself. It's in that fucking thing, but it's on a tiny phone through a phone that I'm trying to show it to you guys. Go watch him. there's a good like 10 seconds where Peepaw forgets where he's at. He goes,
Yeah. It's definitely in there. It's just not zoomed in. You just couldn't see it.
so this is the shit that both people that are vote blue no matter who and MAGA wants to cope with, dude. They want to tell me that the way to save the world is to vote for or Biden standing there losing time. These are lame examples. The dump in his pants is a lame. So hold on. Trump falling asleep in court, where he got convicted for 34 felonies, by the way, smelling like Duke, and everybody around him within 20 feet can smell the duty in his diaper. He was loudly farting and shitting into his diaper in court, snoring. You're gonna tell me that's about to save the world? Peepaw with a 3XL adult diaper. And you know what, I hate to have to do it to you again, but you know what Trump eats. Come on, MAGA. Hey, MAGA, what's Trump's favorite food? Let's find out what kind of Duke is in the diaper. What's Trump's favorite food? What's the thing that Trump can't go without, bro? What does he always eat? He's proud of it. You know the answer, but I want to hear it from MAGA. Everybody else shut up. MAGA, tell me what the God Emperor Trump's favorite fucking food to eat. He's always eating it is. Rice. Give me a break, MAGA. Cope harder, bro. You know what it is. The God Emperor loves a big old steaming bag of McDonald's. And that's the Duke that's in that diaper. That's why people can smell it from 20 feet instead of 10. Because it's extra rotten McDonald's doo-doo. And you want to tell me that dude, I want you to imagine something. I did this last night, but since I got a few MAGA in here. Let's say Trump wins, bro. You get what you want. Every time you see a video of him standing like a centaur in the Oval Office, and then he goes to sit down at the Resolute desk, they love those types of photo op things. I want you to imagine that he's got a big boom boom in his pants, because he probably does. It's McDonald's boom boom. Peepaw with a boom boom. And when he sits down, you know what happens to a boom boom when your weight gets pressed on it in a diaper? Do I have to be more descriptive? Imagine having a big boom boom in your diaper and then you sit. And your butt cheeks hit the chair, and you know what they do when you hit the chair? They kind of spread, and everything gets mushed, right? Where do you think all that boom boom goes? Do you think it just stays in a hidden pocket in the diaper? That boom boom goes on his balls, his penis, his inner thighs. So the leader of the free world is gonna meet with a dignitary and drive listen, I know the best deals. I know the best deals. He's going to make the best deal in the world with a Duke in his pants and orange clown makeup on his face, sweating and saying, you guys are fucking coping, bro. Cope. Ultimate cope. May God help whoever has to clean that up. You think that man allows somebody to see him with Duke on him? He walks into the shower maybe once every couple of weeks and wipes the Duke off of himself. He changes his own diaper. He's never seen in a diaper. He never lets anybody see him pulling on the 3XL adult diaper with duty all between his butt cheeks to go to fucking... You think he lets people see that? You think that man that can't admit that he went bald in the 80s and has a wispy blur tool on his head, comb over fucking rat's nest on his head, you think that man's gonna let somebody see him with a Duke in his diaper? He won't even let other people do his makeup. That's why his makeup looks absurd. He's an old man going like, drawing his orange makeup on, and he comes out and he's sweating, and you're like, that's my president. It's like, fuck, man, what's that say about you, homie? Your president's supposed to be the best among you. The best among you is an old man that's losing his mind with a duty all up under his balls? Stinking, losing track of time, saying, well, you know what I mean? Do I have to keep going? That's a hump you got to get over with a reasonable person like me, bro. He owns his own makeup. It's well known. You can read about it, Stephanie. He owns a whole suite of makeup, different shades of orange and brown that he blends himself. There was a news story about it when he first won the presidency in 2016. He's got a whole collection of his own stuff. It's a solitude moment. He doesn't stay in a room that doesn't have a big mirror, like a makeup mirror. And he will not come out of his room after sleeping until he has done his hair, which he himself has said takes upwards of 2 hours, and his makeup. He doesn't let anybody touch it or see him without it, ever. The best you get is a candid shot of him out on the golf course, looking fat as fuck and pale, sweating with a MAGA hat on his head because he didn't feel like spending 6 hours to make that coif on his head work. Don't forget he thinks Hannibal Lecter's a real person. Yeah. Don't forget he made a speech where he said Hannibal Lecter is going to come across the border if we don't close it. Hannibal Lecter, real tough customer, real bad guy, real bad guy. Said a lot of things. He's over there. He's coming over. Dr. Lecter, come on in. What? Real bad guy. You might know him, I know him, everybody knows him. Hannibal Lecter. Cannibal. A cannibal, he's there. Hannibal Lecter's coming in. It's like, what? Hannibal Lecter's coming in, homeboy? With a Duke in his pants, keep that in mind. You gotta add the Duke always. He meant Hannibal Lecter types, then why didn't he say it? Because he's too old and dumb to make the distinction? Are you sure he knew? See, that's the question. There's always cope, but never like, why didn't he say like, people just like Hannibal Lecter coming in? He said, Hannibal Lecter's coming. Oh, border's wide open. We're saying, come in, Dr. Lecter. He didn't say people like Dr. Lecter. He didn't say it. Why didn't he? He's the great communicator, right? He's the guy that fucking speaks. People listen, right? And all you ever get when you bring this shit up to MAGA is cope. I bet some have trickled in the middle of this, and they're probably in the middle of typing like, Lamau, look at Biden, though. They don't know me, right? They don't know that I don't simp for Peepaw Poopy Pants or Peepaw Poopy Pants. You want proof of that? Biden made Duke in his pants in front of the Holy Father. This is just fucking physical reality. He shat his pants up so bad in the Vatican, in the Holy Father's see, that they had to put him in a fucking bathroom and send his assistants out to go buy him a new suit because he duked himself up so bad. Biden gets lost. I don't think Biden knows what year it is. I don't think Biden knows which of his sons died. I think Biden's about fucking hanging on by a thread, bro. So that's part of the cope, though. Instead of MAGA addressing the duty, the makeup, a repeat-dua, right? They want to go like, oh, this guy's a Biden supporter, Lamau, MAGA 2024. That's the cope. No, I ain't, bro. That's the level of cope we're dealing with, though, bro. Insane cope. Insane upside down backwards cope. Nobody ever tells me what Waribadua means. Nobody ever accounts for the stink cloud that follows that weird orange clown. Nobody accounts for an old man losing his mind. He told you the other day, by the way, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He just wants your vote. That's what I tell people. I tell them all the time at these rallies. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care about you. I want your vote. That's all. That's all. And it's like, they go like, MAGA. That's the guy that's like me. Cope. Let me tell you something about MAGA. Even MAGA doesn't know about this, bro. Look at the cope. Here's a guy. You gay. MAGA cope. He's banned. Let me tell you about the MAGA cope that's going on right now. The diaper shit is so real, right? It's not, they can't say it's fake anymore because there are pictures where you can clearly see Trump's got and it's not even like controversial. He's got a big diaper on. Like there's several of these photos. People can tell it when he walks. Like the cope has stopped in one part of MAGA. They ignoring it cope. I shit you not, this is real. Real men wear diapers. It's a new little sub part of MAGA. They literally will walk around their little like MAGA rallies wearing diapers, adult diapers with Trump's mugshot on them. They sell T-shirts that say "Real men wear diapers," and it shows his mugshot. They say it's manly that he shits himself and has a boom boom in his pants. That's the level of cope, bro. That is the level of cope that you get out of MAGA. That's some patriotism right there. Literally, and this is real. This is not like some ironic thing that some leftist is doing. This is legit happening at multiple MAGA rallies. People are buying and selling and wearing adult diapers with Trump on them to cope with the fact that he makes boom boom. And you don't have to take my word for it. All you got to do is look it up. There are pictures from multiple rallies now. It's not stopping. So they're so lost in their fantasy world that they have to reinvent a reality where it's a good thing to have a big stinky McDonald's boom boom in your pants. They want to call Biden old and out of touch. He is, dude. He's ancient. I think he's lost 90% of the time, bro. But then they want to cope when Trump displays that he's lost at least 80% of the time. I don't care about you. I don't even care about you. I just want your votes. It's the truth. I just want your votes. MAGA, MAGA, in a diaper. And you want to look at me and tell me you know what's what, bro? You're a fucking sideshow. Bro, anybody outside of your limited fucking engagements in public is laughing their fucking ass off at you and shaking their fucking heads, bro. You think you're seen as some sort of like patriot, liberty warrior because you run around in a diaper with a giant Trump flag hanging off the back of your truck that's never been off-road and never towed anything? Are you fucking kidding me? You're in a diaper. Your level of simping has gone to the point where you're throwing on a diaper. Anybody home? Unbelievable, bro. Like that, dude, if there's one thing that triggers me these days, and probably for the last 10 years, I probably didn't know how to name it, it's cope. The way that people will cope to try and be right is fucking flabbergasting, bro. Grown-ass people older than me with jobs and shit run around in a diaper. Nice watch. Thanks. They actually think Trump is God. Oh yeah, dude. They'll call themselves Christians, but they have a literal golden calf of Trump at the RNC last year or last cycle. Like they're literally breaking like the first commandment in the Bible: "Thou shalt not raise up graven images." They've got a literal graven image of Trump, and they treat him like he's Jesus. In fact, a lot of Christians, this is the level of cope when you combine Christian and MAGA. A lot of Christians have started like openly saying like, yeah, Jesus was a cuck. Jesus was lame, dude. Fuck that, dude. I'd rather follow Trump. Like that shit is starting to happen, bro, for real amongst Christians that are following this guy. This is no joke, man. The cope levels are fucking giga. It's like the fucking Sarbamba of cope going on, and like so many people are just not even calling it when it happens. They're trying to go like, we need to. They're just like, we need to get rid of these people. It's like, no, we need to fucking find out how these people got lost and bring them back. Because they're running around in diapers talking crazy shit about dead Kennedys coming back to fucking take over the presidency and shit. They fucking lost touch. Something about the last 20 years broke them in here. No joke. Legitimate. Dude, these MAGAs, like when they do MAGA 2024, or yeah, MAGA 2024 with a bunch of flags, every one of those motherfuckers knows that there's a boom boom in those pants. Every one of those motherfuckers knows he looks creepy and weird and sweaty. Every one of those motherfuckers heard him say, well, rip-a-doo-ah, and like slavishly like servile little belly-crawling worms. They crawl up to slurp that disgusting gravy falling down the leg of his 3XL adult diaper, bro. And then they want to cope like they've got it figured out. And then when you ask them about it, they all dry up, bro. They all just disappear up out of here. Their mouths will not run with somebody in here that's about to call it. They got nothing to do, so they'll spam, get banned, MAGA 2024, all the bullshit, but they never got an answer for Walreepy Doo-ah, never got an answer about the 3XL diaper and the MAGAs running around wearing them, never got an answer about the boom boom, never got an answer about the makeup, why it's bad for a trans woman to wear makeup, but why Trump can spend 3 hours doing his hair and makeup and that's somehow manly, why he stands like a centaur, why there's 25 or 30 photos out there floating around where he clearly has a big load in his diaper, like you see his legs when he's sitting down underneath a table and there's a big swanging load. It's like, oh, he did this, his pants bunching up. Pants don't bunch up like they've got a big load of shit in them. No answer, no political plan, just cope. And that's on both sides too. The DNC ain't no better. They've just been backed into a corner now. Well, Biden would probably be worse. And then Biden just gets worse on Israel. Well, Trump probably still would have been worse. Israel literally gets within inches of literally exterminating the Palestinian people that live in Gaza from the earth. Well, Trump probably would have been done it faster. It's like the cope. Then they go like, well, say what you want about Biden's policy. I hate him on Israel. I think he's horrible on Israel. He's a warmonger and a fascist. But at least he wouldn't close down the border like Trump. Trump is already saying he'd close the border. Then like a week later, Biden's like, I've announced sweeping legislation to close the border with Mexico and deny all asylum requests until the border is secured. And they go, well, what they could do, well, Trump probably would have done it, though. Probably Trump's already said. You know, the corner just gets smaller and smaller, and they don't see themselves being backed into the logically inconsistent corner because they have to be right. The cope has to stay real. Dude, Biden supporters, vote blue liberals that don't see the writing on the wall that this old man is a warmongering piece of shit, unelectable, lost, are huffing on the same fucking tube of copium that the MAGA people wearing diapers are. No shit, legit. 100% facts, no lie needed. Just the truth. Still a binary choice. It's like, fuck, bro. You're a kindergartner, bro. It really isn't a binary choice. You want to make it that. I'm voting for Jill Stein. How's it a binary choice? That's my choice. How's it binary? I know a lot of people that are just staying home and protest. I know a lot of people that on the left normally would have done the vote blue thing that aren't voting for Biden this round. They're looking for a third party to vote for. You tell me that's not an option? That's how Trump won the first time. No. How Trump won the first time is the DNC ran the weakest candidate at that point in DNC history, a woman named Hillary Clinton. She spent no money. She didn't even campaign in Michigan, which she lost. She didn't campaign in about half of the swing states that everybody assumed she was going to get. That's how we lost. Because people didn't call out a warmonger, a shitty person that nobody wanted as president. They thought she was just going to walk in. Do you know the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC literally funded Trump's campaign early on because they thought it would be hilarious and he would be the easiest person to beat? This is in the record, bro. This is just facts. That's why Trump won, because the DNC literally helped him, right? Not because guys like me couldn't vote for Hillary the warmonger Clinton. Nope. That's cope. That's the level of cope I'm talking about. You have to go back in the multiverse and reinvent reality to make yourself right. But the proof is in the pudding, my dude. If they would have put Bernie Sanders and hadn't scuttled his campaign, Bernie would have mopped the floor with Trump, and we'd be in a lot better place. Cope about that. Seethe about that. Seethe about Hillary Clinton. Seethe about the DNC walking into it again. Because you want to know what's happening again? You know how they're serving up Trump again? The same way. Unelectable guy. Fucking approval ratings in the toilet. Warmonger. Just like divided from his party. Lost. Unelectable. And they're riding with him. Because they think he's just going to walk over Trump. They're hoping Trump ends up in jail, or Trump dies first, or Trump's poopy pants fall down and they have to win. They're betting on a miracle, and that miracle is an 80-plus-year-old man who's about to die. Okay? And it's about to happen again. You want my call on it? Trump's going to squeak this one out, and there's going to be cope for miles along, and MAGA is going to cheer while he sits down again at the Oval Office desk with a boom boom in his pants to stink up the rest of his 4-year term. And I can say the same thing about Joe Biden. 100%. I don't have a fucking horse in this race. I don't have a dog in this horse. I don't have a horse in this dog. Okay? By the way, it is time for me to do my stretches, so give me a second. I'm going to go get that ready, and then I'm going to do my stretches. It's fucking time, bro. I need it. Hello, my D. Deedly deedly dee. Hello, my D. Doodly doodly doo. Hello. Hello. Hello, my little dino. Hello. Hello. Hello, my little dino. Dino. All right, I think this is probably going to be okay. Let me see how it is. Do I need my flip-flops? Nope. Okay, so here's some impressive fat guy stretches to help people that have back problems. Yay, I do these 3 times a day. Oh. Oh. And that's what we do. Whew. That was sorely needed today. I wish I could get a microphone, like a sensitive little mic that'll pick up those crunches and crackles that happen. Whew. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, that's good tingles. That's a good little blood flow all the way to the tips of your fingers and toes. Centers your mind. Helps my back and neck so much. I know, like I said before, that wasn't like impressive. It wasn't meant to be. But any display of flexibility and ability that you see there was won by deliberate practice for the last 9 months or so. I've really been taking stretching and those few yoga poses that I can avail myself of that don't hurt me. I've been using those for a while. And the result has been pretty stunning on my ability and my stamina and my flexibility most of all. Do you shave your belly? I don't.
Just have ginger body hair.
I guess that's it. Or like blonde. Like if you look at my eyebrows, people ask me if I shave those too, but they're there. They're just very light and wispy. It might be too TMI or whatever, but you know.
Wispy all over.
Yeah, that's basically what the pubes are like. So Paul, question for you. What are your thoughts on the state of Russia? I think in the coming multipolar world, Russia is going to be a player. I think that they are making a horrible, tragic mistake, blowing all their blood and treasure on the Donbass. I think a lot of that has to do with Putin being old and having an agenda to grind away before he dies. I think that Russia will be suffering from the loss of those, some people say, 500,000 young men and women for generations. I think there'll be a brain drain in Russia. I think Russia will suffer economically and socially as a result of what's going on there. I think that I don't have much faith in leadership change post Putin's death. I feel like Putin, if anything, has greased the wheels for somebody just like him to assume the same kind of oligarchical power and keep the machine grinding. So I don't have a whole lot of hope, unfortunately, for Russia. The brain drain is already really bad there. Yeah. Is him dying of cancer a hoax?
Probably.
In this day and age, you never do know, do you? We live, you guys ever heard the term post-truth world? We live in a post-truth world. Cheers. We're about 5 years from you not knowing that somebody like this isn't AI. You'll be scrolling through people like me who are talking and interacting with the chat, and you'll be thinking they're real people, and they're not. I could be one of those. Think about that shit. That's the world.
But yeah, America has always started propaganda like that when they're in war.
Well, they do the same thing over there.
Yeah.
Rumors that Biden has been replaced by a clone are gaining popularity in the United States and world over. Biden's countenance has changed very drastically since he was elected last November 2020. Here you can see a comparison. The man on left looks more like a normal old man. The man on right has different eye shape, different lip shape. It is being thought by people in Russia and the United States, as well as the UK, that Biden has passed away from old age or cancer and has been replaced by a body double. You tell me that's not happening over here? Give me a break, dude. Is this your house? Technically, yes. I don't own it, but it's my domicile. I pay fucking way too much rent every month for it. So yeah, technically this is my house, but no, I do not own it.
I wouldn't want to.
I would never purchase this house if you had a gun to my head. You never should have let stupid people have the internet. We never should have let anybody have the internet until it was decided what we were going to do with the social forces and fucking negativity that it would unleash. Like, people foresaw this type of thing. There are, people that write about the disintegration of humanity once perfect cloaked anonymity becomes available. It's explained, or it's explored in works like Neuromancer. Neuromancer covers it pretty extensively, how one person can be 10 in the new world and how that has to be addressed in some way. Like, and this is written back in the fucking late 70s, early 80s, Neuromancer. So it's like, yeah, honestly, what should have happened was, before this cultural force was unleashed, the people that did it should have thought, how's this going to affect children? How's this going to affect the minds of the people using it to inform themselves? What are some of the things that we think corporations are going to do with this to manipulate people's mindsets? The sad thing is, they did have all those meetings and they all decided they'd rather release it. Probably because a lot of those things that I mentioned that sound like they should be negatives were probably seen as positives. Where do you live? I live in California. Where do you live? I've only read Neuromancer yet. I'm working on the sprawl. I want to read the next one, but I had to take a break from cyberpunk novels for a while because I went a little deep. I went a little hard. Why do you smoke? I smoke 2 joints in the morning. I smoke 2 joints at night. I smoke 2 joints in the afternoon, 'cause it makes me feel alright. I smoke 2 joints up in heaven. I smoke 2 joints on the floor. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more, 'cause we be jamming. Ah, do 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 do. That answer your question? That's it. I'm subbing up. You sing well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, but my wheelhouse is 80s and 90s stuff. I'll hum a tune for you before I go on inside if you'd like. I don't like lame songs, but I do like pretty songs, and I like old songs. I like the songs my grandparents and parents liked, bro. I'm one of those people. I like Cheap Trick. I like Humble Pie. I like Pink Floyd. I like Steppenwolf. I like Boston. Your attitude is your attitude. How high can you get? High as you want to get, bro. How high you want to get? I love Primus, but Primus sucks. Indeed, they do. 25 and 624. That song, dude. What even is that song? Dude, what were they channeling? Cannot hear you anymore. 25 and 624. Do 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 do. Then the brass comes out of nowhere and slaps you in the face. You think it's just gonna be a groove, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 and you're like, whoa, okay, I didn't know this was gonna be that kind of song. Staring at the break of day. Thinking of something to say. Do. I don't know the lyrics well. I cannot hear me anymore. 25 and 624. That song is so fucking dope. Dude, I love that Billy Joel from fucking Green Day is a dude from Jersey, and like he got popular by singing like this, bro. Do you have the time to listen to me whine about everything and nothing all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like, dude, everybody thought Green Day was from fucking London, bro. When they first dropped. Everybody's like, who's this fucking British pop punk band, bro? They're pretty dope. Maybe he is from the Bay. I thought he was like a New York guy, but maybe he is from the Bay. I don't know. Either way, I know he's not from London. I know that. He's just singing like fucking Sid Vicious, man. I got no problem with that, dude. All art is inspired something or someone. Oh, yeah, cool. Now I know. Billy Joe is from Cali. Another Cali boy. Makes sense. You thought he was Irish? Fuck that. You're fucking crazy, bro. See, people still think the dude's actually like from the UK or some shit. It's nuts.
You know who can't rap though? The Brits. Sounds weird.
I don't know. I kind of want to groove with some of the UK drill that's coming out, but when they start talking about like gunplay and gangster stuff, I know they're not about it, and I just have to call it. And then they do some weird stuff, like, you know that Central C guy? Do you ever hear him? That he samples an old 90s song. It's like, bum 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 bum. And he's like, how can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay. Hitting the bottom, in the top, and even the stick is gay. Hug my brothers and I tell you that I love them, but I don't swing that way. It's like, yeah, I know 21 Savage is like a British perpetrator, bro. They like Savage while you talk like you from the South and you from England, fucking, you know, like he never raps about that though. Your wifey looking good, how you keep that? Your wifey said I'm looking like a whole snack. Green hundreds in my safe, I got old rags. You know what I mean? And he's from fucking Great Britain, so they perpetrate both ways, you know. Living like a rock star. I don't know, man. I don't mind a fake gangster, but when they start trying to act brawlic and stuff, because like a lot of UK drill now is trying to like nut flex on American rap, and you can't really do that if there's no gunplay where you're at, bro. You can't rap about like, I'll pull out the blick and blow up the block. Like, no, you didn't. You probably never even held a blick, bro. Just be real. You didn't pull out the blick and blow up the block. You might have a pocket knife in your hand, and you might get brawlic if 3 of your fucking chavs are there with you. Just be real about it in your rap, bro. You didn't pull out the blick, and you've never blown up the block. It's like that Kendrick. I was talking about it last night, Brianna, but I don't mind re-mentioning it. But I warn you, if you have a fucking horse in the race, if you like Drake or Kendrick, you're not gonna like what I have to say. But I'm willing to talk about it. So you know me, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, right? I was born in 1980. I was 10 years old in 1990, right? I saw some of the most vicious and real rap beef that ever existed in the rap game, bro. And I lived through it. I saw the East Coast, West Coast shit. I saw when DOC got fucking in a car accident and they got shot up. I saw when fucking, you know, Dre and Snoop were getting shot at and shit. I saw, you know, gunplay and stuff. I saw Tupac drop like a fly. I was alive and aware. I saw fucking Biggie drop like a fly. I saw a bunch of other people killed or murdered or out of the game or in fucking jail over real dirt that they used to really do in the streets, and that leaked into their rap, right? Not everybody was a real gangster back in the day, but there was a plethora of them, and there still are, by the way. King Von, fucking a lot of these dudes are like started gang affiliated. I know about O Block. I know a little bit of the history of O Block, including why it's called O Block. A lot of people don't know that. Do you know why the legendary Chicago neighborhood is called O Block? It's not because of the street name. It's not on O Street, I'll tell you that much. I want to see if anybody knows. Young Thug, prison time. YNW Melly straight up cold-blooded murdered his friends right in the car when they didn't see it coming, and then wrote a fucking amazing song about it, and the dude's about to beat it. Nobody knows. O.D. Perry is a good answer, but that's not why it's called O Block. No, it's not O Town. Nobody knows why they call it O Block? I want to see if one person knows. That's crazy, bro. How does a fucking boomer like me know more about rap than all the kids up in here? I mean, I know if you're not into rap and stuff, nobody knows why they call it O Block? Because they make an O face before they get shot. Good guess, but no. This isn't rap history. This is rap present, though. This is like rap now. I thought it was Perry. It isn't. It's not O.D. Perry. O Block was the very neighborhood that one Michelle Obama grew up in. O Block is not their prison block. It's not their gang. It's called O Block because it's the neighborhood in Chicago that Michelle Obama grew up in. O is short for Obama. Yes, really. And many other facts that I don't know why I know. But I'm up to game. There are some actual killers out there doing fucking rapping and stuff, and I respect the killing, but I respect the lyrics if you're out there and you've done dirt. So to bring it back to Kendrick and Drake, both of these men are soft as muffins. Both of them claim to be affiliated, but neither one of them has done dirt in the street. Kendrick is a short king. Drake grew up rich on Degrassi High, a Disney show in Canada. And they are starting to rap about gunplay and blicky shit against each other, and neither one of these motherfuckers is reaching for any kind of blick. And I don't have much respect for either of them for engaging in the kind of like pussy battle. Like if there's some actual intent behind a rap, or you've done dirt in the past and you're willing to talk about that, I think it's your right. But if you're just like making up that you're gonna go to the blick, bro. Kendrick was definitely in a gang. I mean, citation needed, honestly. There are a lot of people that like claim to be affiliated that maybe ran with the turf, but never ever went to the heat. It was just a thing they did when they were teenagers. Google said that's cap, see? I don't think I think he could claim he knows people. Maybe he's affiliated in that way. I'm not saying he couldn't like pick up the phone and call some fucking gangsters and get them to go ride down on fucking somebody. But to me, that's not manly. It's you saying, I'm gonna get the heat. I'm gonna bust you because you sweet. You know, no you're not, no you didn't, no you won't. Stop with the gunplay, because you're not about it. I hate it when people that aren't about it, instead of just admitting it and moving on and telling you what they are about, they want to pretend they're about it, you know? And that's how I feel about Kendrick and Drake. I don't think either one of these motherfuckers cares about anything other than the money they're making off of this shit. And anybody that's like actually invested in it is just being led down the primrose path by a couple of actors, a couple of studio gangsters, a couple of people that spit hot fire in the booth, but if you caught them lacking in the streets, they'd probably pee themselves, both of them.
Full heat of the day is coming.
Oh, I know. And these flies are just mating. Oh, God. You know what I want? They make those like, I was telling them I'm going to buy one when I go in. Have you seen those tennis racket looking things, but they're electrified?
Yeah.
And they zzz right out of the air? I want to get one of those. Because I could just like wave those around sometimes and get like 5 flies. So I'm going to get one. I'm going to order one. I know they make them motherfuckers. We used to like touch it and see who could touch it longer. Because it's not enough like to hurt you, but it feels weird. I'm getting one of those, dude. I could get like 5 or 6 at once. Zzz. And they're just dead. They just fall. So I'm going to get one. They got to be like $20 max on Amazon or somewhere. Yeah. I'm just going to go find one because I can't, man. The war is on again. I am not going to be driven indoors for another summer, even though I'm leaving. Yeah. You know what? I didn't start this war, but I am going to finish it, you little motherfucker. You hear that? The electricity is coming for you all. You've been found guilty of vagrancy. The sentence, death. You have been warned. It said O Block started being referred to after O.D. Perry was murdered. That is not my understanding of the trap lore. But You can correct me. I will stand corrected if that is the truth. It was my understanding that it was called O Block because it's Michelle Obama's block. That is also true. That is also not cap. Tractor Supply has sticky traps that catch a shit ton. Only $10. Yeah. I mean, I would love to do that. I can't do citronella because it's bad for your animals. But if it's not that, if it's just like a stick trap, then like I'll look into it because there's tons of Tractor Supply places here where you like. I know they put these big things out around the cows that draw the flies and kill them by the millions, so that they don't pester the cows all day. And if I could get one of those out here, it'd probably fucking keep a fly from ever landing on my doorstep ever again. But I just don't know where exactly to get those. But if you're saying they're at Tractor Supply places, then I'll ask my fucking stepdad. He'll know. And I'm gonna go get one. I don't care if it's $100. They stink. Then I'm gonna place it over there in the middle of my yard where it's not close to any of my neighbors or me, and I'm gonna let the flies go die in it. I'd rather have a little bit of stink on the wind for a little while and not have a fucking horde of flies out here. And I think my neighbors would agree. Not that I would, you know, put a trap out that would stink up their house or something, but I think it's a fair trade for them as it is for me. I don't like swatting at flies all day.
I don't respond with the
Bye, D. Go get cool. Womp, womp. Da-da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Womp, womp. Da-da-dun-dun-dun-dun. Womp-no-no-no. Da-da-dun-dun-dun-dun. Womp-no-no-no. Jesus, don't cry. You can rely on me, honey. You can come by anytime you want. I'll be around. You were right about the stars. Each one is a setting sun. Do 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 no 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 no. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad sad songs. Two chords strummed down your cheeks, bitter melody, turning your orbit around. Don't cry. You can rely on me, honey. You can come by anytime you want. I'll be around. You were right about the stars. Each one is a burning sun. Do 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 down 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 down. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad sad songs. Two chords strummed down your cheeks, bitter melody, turning your orbit around. Our love is all we've got, honey. Each one is a setting sun. Our love, bum 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 bum. Our love is all of God's money. Each one is a setting sun. Do 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 do. Down down down. One more time. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad, sad songs. Two chords strummed down your cheeks, bitter melody, turning your orbit around. Turning your orbit around. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, hello. Do you know that you're awesome? Not in a weird way. I go through streams, compliment people just to make them smile. Oh, thanks. That's actually nice of you. That's a nice thing. You're spreading a little bit of love instead of hate. I give you props for that. Thank you for that. It did make me smile a little bit. That's very nice. Are there religious people here all the time now? Because these are in the shorts feed. And so people come from all walks of life. Keeps it fresh. Yeah, new blood always keeps it fresh. It's always good to get people that haven't seen you before. Really is a different audience with the shorts. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Turning your orbit around. By the way, that song is Jesus, Etc. by Wilco. I started singing it because Brianna just said the name of the band, Wilco. That album is called Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Might be one of the most beautiful folk rock albums ever written. It was just absolute banger after absolute banger, start to finish. Can't really recommend that album high enough, but if you just like that song, it's called Jesus, Etc. by Wilco. And the album that's on is fucking great, bro. Favorite Beck song? I mean, I know it's the fucking one, but Loser is just great, dude. Jeff Tweedy is ultra based, bro. There's a, I can't remember the name of it. He did a documentary about the making of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. I think it might just be called Wilco. But you can find that documentary. I used to own it on DVD, but lost that with everything else in my divorce. It is beautiful, man. It is a beautiful doc. Bum, 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 I love. It's not used to seeing Jesus as Lord here. Yeah, man, I don't mind it, but I hope they're not just professing it with their mouths. I hope they're living the life that Christ called for them, you know. Beck, Loser, probably. Although I did like some of his stuff on that, like, wasn't there an album called The Ocean is something? I don't know what it was. Bum, 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 bum. What does based mean? I don't fucking know, man. Like, I know it started with Lil B, the based god. He started saying it. He's a crazy fucking dude that makes no sense. And I think it became a meme from that. I think it's just a way of saying, like, wow, I agree with that. That's what based means, usually. You're not an anti-theist? I don't know. Can I be honest with you? I know this is kind of like a dodge, but I'm on a journey right now, and I don't know where I'm going to land. I don't know anymore, man. I know I don't believe in a God or whatever. I'm not having that kind of a journey, but I'm like trying to have a different tact about religion in general and with people. But I haven't found a whole lot of success in it, but it feels better than just dismissing it. So I don't know where that's going to land me, man. Not by simply outwardly praising Jesus, they're not. That's Paul's teachings, not you, the other Paul. Right. My namesake in the Bible, Saul of Tarsus, aka Paul the Apostle. Oh, I meant your looks. Oh, what about my looks? It's a lot like true or real. Yeah, it's like, I agree with that. I echo that sentiment. I don't know, that's what it means, I think. Live and let the other kind of live kind of mentality with everyday religious people then. I'm trying to live up to that standard, but I'm really finding it hard because when I talk to them, I feel like they won't talk to me. Are you Christian? I was raised Christian, and I gave my life to Jesus Christ when I was I think I was 14 or 15. So I did the altar call, and I sincerely at the time gave my life to Christ. As an adult, I've been an atheist for a very, very long time. I might even go so far as to call myself an anti-theist for a long time. But right now I'm trying to shed the labels. I know where I stand still, and that hasn't changed much, but I'm trying to talk to religious people in a different way. It's just the problems that I find are that I've read the Bible multiple times, cover to cover. I know Jesus in terms of what he said and what he prescribed to his people, to his flock. And I see so little Jesus in the church. It makes me sad and it makes me sick. I feel like Christians want to come to me and talk to me about the sins that are on my soul, but their church is a filthy, bigoted nightmare filled with gossip and all of that. I don't want to get back into that fucking preaching again, but if you really want to hear that, rewind this about an hour. I think about an hour ago, I was given that kind of sermon type of thing, even though I'm not a Christian, calling for Christians to read that Bible, calling for Christians to do what they're called to by Jesus and walk in his footsteps, give their possessions to the poor, walk in service of the least among us, stop shaming people for their sin because your garment is filthy with sin too. Luckily for you as a Christian, the Lamb of God was sent to fulfill that law. So you no longer have to be punished for your sinful nature. He took that punishment for you, right? That's your belief. Just be kind and humble. That's how I do it. Yeah, I just haven't been convinced by a Christian that I need Jesus to, I need to believe and go to church and stuff to be kind and humble. I think those things come from within, and I'm certainly not the most humble person on the planet. I'm not trying to claim that. But there are times when I know how to humble myself. There are times when I know how to be wrong, sit back, listen, shut your mouth, and learn. If I didn't know how to do that, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this for a job, right? So that's the problem, that as I see it, man, I've yet to be convinced by Christians that I need to join their church. And in fact, oftentimes if I look into their church, I'm instantly repelled by it, because a lot of these evangelical churches seem to really, really, really hardcore prioritize homosexuality on the list of sins. You know, Jesus had not one word to say about the homosexual. When he talked about sinners broadly, he said the meek shall inherit. He said the least among you shall be first, and the first shall be least. He called for people to, like him, walk among the lepers, walk among the sick, walk among the lost, the atheist, the homosexual, the prostitute, the pimp, right? To be among them, to show them the love that others hadn't shown them, to show them the love of God, and to exude that from your skin. And if you think calling out gay people on your website is doing that, if you think preaching hate from your pulpit and bigotry and otherization and acting like that particular stanza or that collection of 5 stanzas in the Old Testament wasn't part of the law that was fulfilled by Jesus Christ on the cross, then I'm going to call you a hypocrite and a bigot. And I will never darken the doorstep of your church, ever. If I can't openly be who I am, which is according to your prescription, a sinner just like you, if I've got to hide the fact that I'm a bisexual man, if I can't walk into your church and have a husband instead of my wife, then I will never darken the doorstep of your church. So it's a sin to be gay. If it's a sin to be gay, it's a sin to be fucking a liar, a cheater. I'm willing to meet them at that. I'm willing to meet them at their idea of premarital sex being bad. But Jesus never had a word to say about homosexuality. He never raised it above any other fucking sexual sin. And I'm confused as to why specifically American Christianity seems so focused on it. It feels to me like there's a log hanging out of, no, he didn't. You won't be, okay, sneaker lover. You give me a quote where Jesus said, "Thou shalt not be homosexual," or "Thou shalt not lie with man as with woman." If you can find it, I won't ban you. But you're a Christian, you're called to know your Bible, so you've got 40 seconds to find the quote and give me chapter and verse, or I'm going to ban you. You got 30 now. Oh, yeah, a mistranslation was the answer. Good ban, Midnight Ghoul. See what I mean? See what I mean? Couldn't handle it. And that's what I find all over Christendom, not just here online with trolls. I find it with people that would profess with their mouth their concern about my soul. And when I ask them about the log in their eye, they say that they've laid that at the feet of Jesus, blah, 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 blah. When I ask them why there's bigotry in their church, they have no answer. They refer me to their pastor so he can give the cope. I don't see Jesus in your church, and I'm expressly called out as a special kind of sinner by your church because I'm LGBTQ. I will never darken the doorstep of your institution. I'll make sure a dime of my money never crosses your altar. Someone got touched by a priest. I don't know why that would be funny, but no, I didn't. I lucked out. When I was growing up, my parents were like what we call lapsed Christians. They were nominally Protestant. I went to church probably a handful of 5 times, and thankfully, none of the many, many pedophiles that prowl the church looking for children to prey on because they get false trust by being a godly guy ever got their hands on me, but I don't know why that's a joke. You got something to say about that? You got any other witty quips? Methinks not. Absolutely, the Bible has some great lessons to learn from. The meek shall inherit. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Check the log in your own eye before you point out the mote in your neighbor's. Those in glass houses should not throw stones. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Give all of your possessions to the poor and walk the path of Jesus and dedicate your life to serving the least among you. Yeah, man, I think there's a lot of great stuff in the Bible. I just don't see any of it reflected in these big, opulent mega churches and the people that walk around professing concern for my soul while wearing a diamond cross on their chest. Jesus is going to have nothing but the sword for those people when he comes back, if they're right, you know. I don't want to do the whole rant again. You can go look back at the earlier point if you want me to expound way longer on that. But that's what I ask of people who are Christians. I ask them to meet me where I know Christianity is. I ask them to not profess with their mouth their concern about my soul until they've cleaned their backyard, until they've made right with Jesus, because it is not them to judge me, but the Holy Father to judge me. They're not here to judge me. They're here to serve the poor and the meek, and to not be rich men, and to not be hypocrites in the church. And let's just say this. I would be a Christian if that's what was radiating out of American Christianity. What I see coming out of American Christianity is culture war shit, making trans people feel bad, yelling awful slurs at people, camping out in front of abortion clinics and yelling at expectant mothers who are just going there to get a free ultrasound. The fucking list goes on, bro. I see hate. I see bigotry. I see ignorance of the Bible. I see ignorance of the very thing that they name themselves after. And I don't abide it in my presence. I hold, if you profess with your mouth that you're born again, I hold you to a standard that's right there in the book that you should know back and forth before you ever say that out loud to a person. And I hold you to that standard. And if you don't even try to meet it, you may as well shut your mouth with me, because the words of your mouth fall dead to the earth. It is by your fruits that I know you. And if your fruits are bigotry, hatred, MAGA cope, any of that nasty shit that's been appended to your church, you got a big hill to climb before you can even talk to me about Jesus or my soul. I've read your Bible. I know your Jesus. If you were like him, I'd be talking to you different. Hatred, otherization, culture war, ban the trans, get out of here. And this is an LGBTQ free church, rainbow flag with an X through it. No LGBTQ agenda allowed. And you want to talk to me about the fucking mote in my eye with that log hanging out the front of Christianity? Nope. Sorry, I know your Jesus and I know your Bible, and until you start acting like him, people like me are going to be right here showing you your stink. Are you a believer? No. I don't call myself a Christian. I am a believer in the words of Jesus Christ as they're written down in the Bible. Pretty much to the T. Few things I disagree with, I don't think he cared much about. The message of love your neighbor as yourself, the message of put yourself in service to the least, the message of by your fruits shall they know you, the message of be out amongst the homeless, the sinners, the prostitutes, the atheists, the gay, the transgressors of society. Be out among them and be a light unto their path and a lamp unto their way. It doesn't say to spend time preaching hate from your pulpit and putting it all over your website, and Jesus got a fiery sword for that. I do not come with a pen, but with a sword. I do not come with a pen, but with a sword. Who do you think that sword's going to next when he comes back? Who do you think the first stop is? You think it's my house? I think it's your house. And by your house, I mean God's house. I think the hypocrites, the liars, the sinners, and the judgmental will be driven from the church by the sword. You know why I think that? Because it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. God doesn't care if I'm gay. If your Bible is true, then Jesus loves me just the same. Are you on the pipe? Ban him. See what I mean? All I ever get is cope and side shit. Barely ever get a Christian to engage with any of that. Paul, there is no God. There will be no return of Jesus. If you don't know what I'm doing here, if you don't know what this is about, you shouldn't speak up. You call yourself Cosmic Gaussian, but you have the social skills and scraping ability from fucking listening of like a 5th grader, bro. So next time, zip up and listen. Because if you think that what I'm doing is preaching that Jesus and God is real, you're not paying attention. I'm asking Christians to live by the courage of their conviction. I'm asking them to do more than profess with their mouth and hang on a golden idol around their neck, their faith. I'm asking them to give everything they have to the poor, to walk in the sandaled feet of their Lord and Savior, and give their lives to the meek. I'm asking them to whip out of their churches the bigotry, the nastiness, those that will not do unto others as they would have others do unto them, those that don't even follow the basest prescription of Jesus, and that includes a lot of their pastors. Drive them from the church if you don't want your church to be the first door Jesus knocks on with the flaming sword. That's what I want Christians to do if they believe what they profess with their mouth to believe, before they ever pipe up with concern about my soul. They need to clean that mess up out of the church. You got a pastor that's preaching hate, you need to clean that motherfucker out of your church. Because if you've read your Bible, you know what Jesus says his first stop is. The hypocrites, those that did iniquity in my name, those that sowed division in my name, those that used my name to shield their hypocrisy, those that loudly professed with their mouth their love of me but never acted it. I come for them first. The sword knocking on the door of your church and pretty much every fucking church I see around. You might come to my house. But you're going to burn first. Because like Jesus, I hold you to a higher standard. You profess with your mouth to be Christian, you better follow that man. You better listen to every word he said in the Bible. You better listen to the fact that he did not come to abolish the old law, but to fulfill the old law. You better learn what fulfillment means. That means his sacrifice on the cross freed you from burning eternal for the sins laid out in the Old Testament. Homosexuality is an Old Testament sin. He freed you from that on the cross, just like he freed you from adultery, lying, sinful, prideful, slothful, wrathful behavior. You want to otherize gay people and keep them out of your church? Jesus is coming to your church first, if he's real. And that's all I'm asking you to do, is live that. Have concern for your own church and the souls of those around you in your church, because they're going to be the first to burn. And that's not me. That's not man. That's Jesus. Jesus doesn't hate. No, he doesn't. But he has no time for hypocrites. Right there in the Bible. Right there in the Bible it says, "Get thee hence from me. I never knew you. Those that worked iniquity in my name, get thee hence. You are neither hot nor cold. You are lukewarm, so I spew you from my mouth." These are the words of God the Father and Jesus. You argue with them, not me. You dividers, you politicians, you people participating in this ugly, divisive culture war and calling yourselves Christians while you do it. You stain the garment of your church. And Jesus is coming to the churches with the most stains first. He says it right in the Bible. Argue with that. Don't argue with me. Single digit IQ logic is real. It's all they've got, man. I've never met a Christian yet to this day that's had an answer for this very simple biblical question. It's very simple biblical observation that a bunch of rich gossips are attending church and excluding gay people and other types of sinners in defiance of Jesus. I've never heard one say, "You know what, you're right. I'm going to go to my church tomorrow and immediately talk to my pastor about why we do that." Never one time. In all the years I've been doing this, I've never once I've had a billion Christians come in here and say, "Jesus loves you. Think about your soul. Jesus wants you to love him too." Yeah. Never once have I said the words that just came out of my mouth. Yeah, that's not real Christianity. You know what we call that? The no true Scotsman. No true Christian would ever do that. Meanwhile, Christianity is maggoty with it. No true Christian would ever defy the words of Jesus. That's called a fallacy. That is a self-refuting statement. Doesn't work. You don't get to look around at all the bigotry and hatred coming out of the Christian church and say, "Nah, that's how real Christians do." Nope. Knock, knock. Spoken to pastors and priests. I'm about to go speak to a pastor, probably like at the end of the week or maybe early next week. He's also a member of my family, but I've been invited to have a talk with him about these very things, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But it won't be my first talk with a pastor. It won't be my first talk with a Christian. It won't be my first time having sophistry and cherry picking used to excuse this hatred, bigotry, and otherization in their church. So, my mind is open. Maybe this pastor will have something to tell me that makes me think that Jesus would drive gay people from his church. But I don't think he will. He won't be the first pastor to try and justify it by cherry picking his Bible. The problem is I've read his Bible. Maybe even more than him. I don't know. I mean, he's a pastor. I assume he's read it more, but I'll just tell you point blank. The pastor that I'm going to talk to is my brother-in-law, my sister's husband for years and years. the father of all of my nieces and nephews. They have a whole brood of them. Really like the guy. I respect him. He is the pastor of a big church. And he, on his website, put homosexuality as an explicit thing. Doesn't mention pride, doesn't mention coveting, doesn't mention raising false idols. In fact, encourages people to put false idols around their necks in hypocritical denial, right? Display your Christianity in a big, expensive golden cross around your neck. That's what Jesus would want to see when he comes back. A big, expensive blood diamond cross around your neck is what Jesus is going to be looking for. It's absurd. But on my brother-in-law's website for the church that I'm invited to all the time by my family, it says that bisexual, gay, lesbian, and transgender people and anybody that would change their gender is the exact same as people who use animals for sexual gratification, aka bestiality, and people who have sex with their family. Nothing about the sin of pride on the front page of their thing. Nothing about the sin of judgment. Nothing, not a word. But there's a whole section of Old Testament references for why I may as well lay with a dog than be a bisexual man. That ain't Jesus. That is some kind of hatred and bigotry that comes from a hatred that's deep inside of a lot of Christians. It's my contention that, and look, it's backed by evidence. How many Christians could you name if you really thought about it? Big pastors of mega churches, politically relevant dudes, have been caught tapping their foot under the stall, trying to get a blowjob, been caught with their pants down with crystal meth and a male prostitute. The list goes on, bro. I think there's a lot of people in Christianity that struggle with something that's just minor about their fucking makeup. And I don't blame them. I was 40 years old when I came out of the closet. You know what the sad thing is? Jesus forgives those men who profess with their mouth to love him, all the while blowing other dudes, cheating on their wives. Jesus forgives them too. Their sin is no different than the prideful man's sin. That's what Jesus said. Their sin is no different than the man that walks professing with his mouth loudly that he loves Jesus, but acts like a sinner in his life and never tries to clean it up. People that decorate themselves with idols, big golden crosses, Jesus shirts, right? But their lives are filled with bigotry, hatred, and otherization. Jesus didn't have good things to say about that, but I'm just a guy that read the Bible. I'm not a Christian, I guess. Wouldn't call myself one anyway. But I sure have read that Bible, and I'm sure having a hard time finding where Jesus said, don't be among the sinners. You sure you read the Bible? Yep, pretty fucking sure. King James and the New International Version as well, the one that just like really obfuscates, but basically says the same stuff. Yeah, I've read them both, cover to cover. How do you speak to family about these things without exploding? That's just age. I was very calm during a 6-hour conversation with my mom when she was trying to get me to set up this meeting with my brother-in-law, because she wanted to try and, answer it for me, and she was not able to. And she got very mad. She said some very hurtful things, but unfortunately, it's a pattern in my family. We still love each other, but I absorbed that and I remained pretty calm. I wouldn't have been able to do that 10 years ago. That's just age. That's just knowing when to take a breath, let that person pop off for a while, and then get back to the point. And it eventually worked. It took 6 hours, legit. I'm not even lying, not exaggerating. 6 hours and change to break that down. But it happened. Is your brother-in-law aware you're bisexual? I honestly don't know. He'll be aware after the meeting. My mom is aware. She talks with him all the time. I assume she's told him. But I honestly don't know. I've never told him myself. You may ask yourself, well, you said you came out of the closet. Why didn't you tell your brother-in-law? Because he's the father of 7 little kids that I love more than anything in the world, save my wife and maybe my dog and cat, all right? And I'm afraid, because of the hate that comes out of his church, that if I say with my mouth that I'm a bisexual man, that he will not let me be around his children. And he's going to hear that out of my mouth. I don't know that that's the truth, but I've been afraid of that my whole life. Since my first niece was born. I was 28, I think, when she was born. It's been a fear of mine that if they know how I really am, or if I reach a point in my life where I just want to be able to say that when it comes up, I may not be able to ever see my nieces and nephews again. And honestly, it's their right. If they want to be bigots and keep their kids away from anybody that's gay, it would be their right to do that. I'm not even claiming that. I'm just afraid of it because I don't want that. I want to stay in my nieces and nephews' lives. I want to know them as they grow up. But you know what? That choice is not on me. It's on them. I'm willing to be there. I'm willing to do the uncle part. But I will not, henceforth, lie about who and what I am for them to make them feel comfortable or to adhere to their religion as they prescribe it, because I don't believe it's part of their religion. I believe it's just bigotry and hatred. And I believe it causes a lot of fear. I think that a lot of my nieces and nephews would have a spike of fear if they heard that I was bisexual. I think that maybe the older ones would be able to process it and not care as much. But I think some of the younger ones who know what that is but aren't old enough to really process it, when they heard that Uncle PJ was bisexual, I think they would have a spike of fear in them. I live with that fear of them finding that out every day. I live with that fear of getting a text from my brother or my sister saying, we can no longer have you at picnics. We can no longer invite you to our home. We can no longer have you around our children in any place that we cannot directly supervise. We're sorry, but your sin is too much. I live with that every day. And the hypocrisy of that in the face of Jesus, who they profess is the king of their life and drives their decision making, is fucking unreal to me. And nobody's going to reconcile it for me. I don't expect my brother-in-law to be able to do it, but I'm willing to listen to him and give him the benefit of the doubt, because he seems willing to listen to me. But he's going to hear exactly what I just said to you guys, exactly that way. And I've told that to other pastors, other priests. I've told it to people in my life. And not one of them has had anything but cherry picking and cope. And, well, that's just the way it is. God doesn't like sin. God says man and a woman. And then I'll say something like, oh yeah, God did say marriage is a man and a woman, but God also said render under Caesar. So if the law of the land is that men can marry men and women can marry women, why is the church involved in that? Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. That means that it is not the job of the Christian to be political. So why is there so many MAGA hats in your in your congregation? These types of questions, right? But anyway, I gotta go, guys. I got shit to do, and I got a big, long show tonight. Thank you for chilling with me, though. It was kind of cool. I got shit to do, though. Hold on, let me get a drink. Fuck. Thirsties. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.